good evening, good day, good whatever time zone you're in. We welcome to a Batman video game race, I guess. Chase for the world record. I'm Nilson92. I'm joined by Sidetracked here on commentary.
Hello, that's me.
So, we got Batman video game. We got Andy, the world record holder. We got Dexter that used to have the world record. We have Stans. We got Junkyard Dave. This is the top tier runners we have in this community. So we're just waiting here for Stans.
Yeah,
I assume.
I think we're just going to kind of assume that Stans is watching the Discord, and we're going to do a text countdown in the Batman Discord to get them all ready. So,
sounds good to me.
we're just going to ask them ready in here, get everyone set up.
Sidetracked, do you think we will see a new world record today?
You know what? It's going to be really close. So Dexter, Stans, and Junkyard Dave in the last week have improved their personal best into the low 957 range. So everyone's kind of at the top of their game right now. So like I actually think it's possible. Everyone's been getting paces that are capable of beating the record. So it's just a matter of getting the run together that has everything.
Yeah, so that's pretty much like, yeah, it's going to be exciting. These runners will have 3 hours and they can reset whenever they want, so they can do as many runs as possible. So we are going to see a lot of Batman today, that's for sure.
That is definitely for sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a no reset race for everybody, just to get one run under our belts. And then after that race is done, they're going to move on to doing complete reset world record attempts.
It's just interesting to watch. This game has there's a lot of task jumps you need to do, and there's a lot of glitches you can do. Not too many wild glitches. There's plenty of enough that can like make or break.
Yeah, there's a lot of incredibly precise movements, incredibly precise jumps, things that are 1 frame, 2 frame, pixel perfect, and the entire run is going to end on a frame perfect kill on the final boss in order to get the record. So it looks like everybody is ready. So I'm going to count them down. They're going to reset the game, and then they're all going to start. So here we go.
Should be ready to rock and roll anytime soon.
Yeah, hopefully this will... Oh.
There might be some nerves here.
A little bit, yeah.
No reset run here first. This could be like the ones that, takes the so-called win here. It could be like make or break here. Could be like, get on your runner's mind going into this.
Most definitely. It's especially as you're warming up into an event like this, like nerves really become a factor. You're going to see them all for the first screen. They're going to be trying to manipulate all of these ammo drops. The weapon drops cycle every, I think, roughly 0.3 seconds. So if they kill these enemies in the same pattern every time, then they'll always leave this screen with 72-ish ammo. So they're all going to be doing that, and then it's kind of a free-for-all after that. So I think we're just syncing up the runners right now, and then we'll be able to see paces.
This is like the hardest part is like syncing them up, but don't worry, we're going to have them all synced up nice together.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this first level, but they should be coming out of it at really close to the same time. At least going into the first boss at really close to the same time.
Yeah.
It looks like Endy for sure got his ammo drops. I didn't see what the other guys got.
I'm pretty sure the others also got their ammo drops pretty accurate at least.
Yeah, Stan's did for sure, and Dave looks like he got most of his as well. Dexter's is a bit behind, but I don't know if he goes for the same manipulations that the other guys do.
This first guy, the moth here, you can manipulate his patterns. He dies in the beginning. It's just I personally don't really know how to explain how to do it.
So it's the pattern that he has is based off of the time that you enter the boss fight, and then your position within the boss fight when he decides to make an action. So it's going to be different every time, but if you get in there on the same pace every time, you can manipulate him into always diving down so that you can kill him really quickly. Yeah, then 2-1 here. There's not a lot going on. They're really just controlling their jumps and trying to get through here without stopping at all. Again, there's different weapon strategies you can use, things like that, but for the most part, it's a pretty easy stage. But coming into 2-2 here, they're going to be coming up to something called task jumps at the end of this, which is there's 2 of them in a row, and they're 2-frame, very difficult maneuvers to pull, where you have to stop Batman's movement, start jumping, and then start moving and wrap around these pillars. And you're going to see Dave and Stan's coming up to it really quick here. Actually, all of them are going to be coming up here, but...
Yeah, Dexter lost a little bit of time there on the first boss. Got a little...
So Endy just got his, and Dave got one of them. It looked like he missed the first one. And Dexter got both of his as well, which actually, he was behind for a little bit, and that pulled him into second there. Well, basically tied with Dave at the moment.
Yeah, it's just going to be hard to tell who's like in the lead and not, because like this game is just technical. There's so much stuff you need to think about, so you can just lose time everywhere in a run like this.
Oh, and especially with some of the stuff is going to be outside of their control when they get into Act 3 here, depending on the patterns that some of the bosses get, or the enemies give them.
It looks like Endy has pulled a little lead here.
Yeah, a little bit of a lead. He should be entering this boss around 3:33, which is a really, really good pattern, or time. Ideally, they're looking for a 3:32 to 3:33 to enter this boss here.
This boss is
the
one
boss.
of the worst, I would say.
He's not fun, just because there's so much going on, and his pattern is determined by the time that you enter the boss from the time that the game starts playing. So getting up to that boss at the same time every time is going to determine what he gives you, and it cycles every 4 seconds or so. And Endy just got destroyed by the hoppers there.
This is not good for Endy at all. He's losing all his health that you need for the rest of the stage.
Yeah, so he's either going to have to play this really safe or hope for some heart drops to come up.
Looks like Dave got the best pattern of these runners. Dexter really close behind here.
So Dave does something that I don't think the other runners really quite do, where he will stop and wait and force the hoppers to have the same patterns every time. It has the potential of wasting half a second or so, but it means that they're always going to have the same pattern when you get to them. So this is one of those things where taking a little bit of extra time for a little bit more consistency is paying off for him. Except now he just screwed up the absolute easiest part of that stage. He had a really hard time climbing that wall there.
I mean, sometimes the climbing is actually the worst part in this game. Just the last climb you do in this game is the worst climb in the game. So
it is so difficult. There's a bunch of 4-frame jumps that you have to do that they're not even part of the speed run. It's just how the game is built. Is you have to do these incredibly precise movements through those running cogs, and if you screw it up, they damage you.
And talking about cogs here, Endy is really low in health here.
Yeah, he has to play this safe. He might actually force a death on the Act 3 boss here, just to get all of his health back, because right now he can't defeat him.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a There's gonna be a death here. There's no way.
Oh,
you can do
definitely.
this,
It's
so.
the only way. It's a tiny time loss. It'll only cost him a few seconds, but it's for a runner as good as Endy, it's a bit unfortunate.
I mean, you just have to think he almost did this, the whole stage with just one heart. So that just explains, like, you can tell that Andy's just that top tier runner.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, there's a reason he has the record in this. So Dave, everyone's into Act 4 now, but Dave and Dexter have almost no ammo. So that's gonna come back to bite them really quick here if they don't get some drops. Dave's getting a few of them, but Dexter is still only at 2 ammo, which is not good. So he's going to slow down and start punching things, try and get some drops.
Yeah, this is not good for Dexter at all at this point.
Thankfully, there's a bunch of enemies coming up that he can kill really quickly to try and force some. It's going to slow him down, but oh, he's not getting lucky. He's not getting lucky at all.
Now this is, if you're like getting this far into a run, and you actually have a good run, and you run out of your ammo, this is where the run is dead.
Well, and this is why, if you remember back in level 1, where all of the runners were manipulating ammo drops, this is why it's so important, is because if you do it right, you can carry that ammo through the rest of the game, and you won't ever run into this problem. So Dexter, I think, left the first act with only about 40 or 50 ammo, which is about 20 to 25 lower than what all of the other runners ran through, and this is where it's starting to bite him.
Yeah, definitely. Stans, you just look at Stans, he has 81 ammo at this point. He's set for the rest of the run.
He is. He doesn't need any more ammo drops from here. He should be good straight to the end of the game now. He doesn't have to rely on luck. Dave's kind of in a tough spot too. He's going to need a few drops, but he's not too far off. And he's going to probably kill a whole bunch of enemies coming up here after these upcoming dragon tanks.
Yeah, the dragon tanks, or the digglers that many calls it, the one that they just killed down there on that platform, it's real rough, because if you don't time it perfectly, you will fall down and lose so much time.
Yeah, it's if you kill him correctly without stopping your momentum, you save half a second, and if you miss it, you lose 12 seconds. So it's an incredibly risky strategy to go for. At the level these guys are at, they need to go for it, but it's incredibly risky.
It's one of the shout out to Andy and Stans here for just gaining so much time here on both Dave and,
yeah.
and Dexter, of course, but Dexter ran out of ammo, so.
Dexter's actually in a really good position considering he ran out of ammo and had to stop and farm a lot. That's kind of showing his strength and his experience with this game.
Yeah, and Dave taking death here on the cubes. Well, Andy just blasts through and is taking a lead here.
And it's a significant lead when you consider this game. But everyone into Act 3 roughly around the same time, not a huge time difference here.
This is where the winner will be crowned, because one small mistake here and you're pretty much done here.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much to start hemorrhaging health and hemorrhaging time in this scene. So they're all very practiced at this, so they shouldn't run into any issues, but... Yeah, these climbs are always incredibly scary. You're right at the end of a run. If you're on a good pace, it's really easy for nerves to get at you. But if you play it the same every time, you should be good. There's no RNG to worry about here. So we got Dexter Endy going into Firebug with full ammo, 99 ammo, which is unheard of.
Hey, imagine getting that during a run.
Exactly. So he's got him. There's a 2-pixel window or 3-pixel window where he can stun Firebug into that hopping pattern he had there, which he just missed it a little bit, but he got most of it.
Dexter is really close now.
They're really close. 3 of them just started Joker all at the same time. If one of them can get the glitch... Oh, Endy got the glitch for sure. Oh, wow.
And Andy takes the first race, the no reset one.
Yep. And Dexter and Stans tied for second.
There we go.
I think literally there's 1 frame between them, if that, and that might just be our video buffering difference.
Yeah, it might be, because that was really in, like, that was so close.
Yeah. Oh, that was crazy.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, so for those that noticed it, if you were watching Endy's screen, he killed the Joker on the same frame that one of his lightning strikes hit the ground. And it actually causes the one big glitch in this game where instead of watching Joker struggle to get up and down, it cuts immediately to the end credits and saves, I think, 3.5 to 4 seconds. So that's a big part of the world record run, is getting that glitch. It's 2 or 3 frames, but they're not consecutive frames, so it's incredibly difficult to time. And Endy just got it casually in a race.
And he was like, nah, I had to take one death here, so let's just show how it's done, right?
Exactly. A 10:20 with a death and in a no reset race is a very strong time. I think that would still put him, if this was just a PB attempt, that would be a top 10 time already.
Oh, definitely. There's beautiful execution with everything. The only sad part for Endy was the jumpers in the sewers there in stage 3.
Yeah, and that's one in a world record attempt he would have reset right at that point when he didn't get a favorable pattern, but that's where the experience of knowing how to get through that pays off.
Yeah, so just to explain for anybody that just joined, this is Chase for the world record with the world record holder Endy Sweet, Dexter, Stans, and Junkyard Dave. Dexter is second place on leaderboards. Stans is fourth, and Dave is third. And they got 3 hours to just do as many attempts and probably, just maybe, hit world record here tonight.
And to put it into a bit of context as well, so Endy has the world record at 9:55.7, and then the next 3 are 9:57.1, 0.2, and 0.3. So there is not much separating these 4 competitors.
Yeah, I think Dexter is the one that just recently, like 2 days ago, got his one that put him on the second place, so he's the one that has...
Dave 4 days ago got his 9:57.2, and Stan's a week and a half ago got his 9:57.3. So they're all very fresh. They're right at the top of their game right now.
Yeah, and I think at least from Dexter's side, I think he said that Stan's PB actually made him go out of a little retirement from speedrunning to go back and grind this game.
Stans has been very rapidly climbing the leaderboards on this. Endy and Dexter have years of competition and practice between this game. I want to say 3 or 4 years for Endy, and I don't even know how many for Dexter. He's been the Batman guy since I started following speedrunning. Junkyard Dave has been playing for, I think, 2 years, somewhere in there, and Stan's just picked it up about 6 months to a year ago, somewhere in there, and has been rapidly climbing the ranks to the point where he could take the world record at any time.
Yeah, I think Stans has some acts that he's actually faster than Endy at, and made Endy be like, I need to go back to this game, I need to defend my world record here. And I've seen some of Endy's recent runs, and he used to have some really good paces, so there's potential there as well.
When Endy set his 9:55, most people at the time said, well, I mean, that's it, the game is over. And then Stans came along and he started pushing for, oh, this saves 0.1, this saves, 1 frame, 2 frame, and he started finding all those little optimizations and different ways of doing things that's really pushed this game into another level, to the point where I think both Endy and Stans have had paces of 9:51, 9:52. So to beat the record by, even beyond pace, to beat the record by 3 seconds is absolutely insane at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think like pretty much all of these runners have said to themselves, like, even if it only is like it sounds ridiculous when you say it like that, but like if they only improved with like 1 second, they know that there's more time to save, but it might not be like realistic to reach that goal because there's so much stuff you need to think about to get that clean run. So we might just get another like 1 second like improvement on this world record, but I mean 1 second is a lot when it comes to games.
I have a feeling if the record drops today, which it very well could, I think it's going to be into a high 956. I think it's going to be where we beat the record by about 10 frames, and that was good enough. It dropped us into the next second barrier, and away we go.
I mean, it might be something like that, and I mean, if we just start pushing it down like 1 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames, they will just continue grind this one out, so it will never stop.
Well, and that's what's so fun about this one is there are so many small optimizations that you can make that, you know, the difference between a world record and not is, did you go for that 1 frame jump in the middle of Act 4? Right? Like, you have to go for all of the hard strats. You can't really cheap out on anything here. So a great paced run could die because you had to make a 1 frame, 1 pixel jump.
Yeah, when you think about this game is so like we said, it's so filled with technical stuff, and just being able to play this game so fast like these runners does, it just amazes me like every single time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Let's see where everyone's at here. So I saw Stan's had a really slow boss 2 fight, so I think he's just kind of grinding out a run right now just to kind of get a little bit of practice under him. Dave entered 2-2 on a pretty good pace. He came through the door at 2:01, which is about standard. You can get in as low as a very high 2-minute run. But we'll see what he leaves 2-2 at, because the door that you leave, or the time you leave 2-2 kind of determines what pace you're going to be on going into the Act 2 boss. So we got one of the task jumps. So we got 2. His aren't quite as tight as the way that Stans and Endy do theirs. He actually loses a little bit of time there. And he's a little bit behind. He hit that door at 2:51, which is really good, but it could be almost up to 2 seconds faster.
If I believe Dave has maybe not a huge time save, but he has a pretty good time save during the last climb up to Joker.
So he has almost, in his recent PB, he played almost all of the stages perfect or really close to perfect, and then on the second to last boss he lost 1.5 seconds to a bad pattern. So he has a huge time save at the end of the game if he can get there on even pace.
I mean, it might not be a world record pace there, but it's going to be a huge improvement for Dave's personal record. So, I mean, I think you could be happy with that at least.
Oh, exactly.
Beautiful fight there from Stans.
There's one thing that Stans is incredibly good at is his boss kills are second to none, I feel. He has very tight movement, very tight boss fights. He's got a little bit of bad RNG here. That hopper is really chasing him down.
One thing that you can really say about Stans is like really stands out. It's like the way he can mash his controller to get those fast kills, like you just saw on the Act 3 boss. He makes it look so fast and easy. It's just amazing to watch.
And some of it too is not even how fast you can mash, because with Batman there's a rhythm to it. You have to mash at a certain rhythm to get optimal, optimal batarangs, optimal punches and stuff like that. If you mash too fast, the game either ignores your inputs or drops your inputs, which is actually a huge detriment. So you kind of have to find the rhythm for what you're doing, and then you have to be able to switch on the fly for what you want to do.
I'm starting to wonder if Stans is on really good pace here, since he's really pushing this run.
He's on a pretty good pace. A 7:08 door entry here is pretty good. I'll see what time he enters the Act 4 boss, and we'll kind of go from there. I think 805 roughly is kind of what you want to see for a 957-ish pace run, if I remember correctly. I might be a little bit off on that, but it's around that time. But he has to get up. Oh, he has to get up there first, and that not sticking to the wall definitely cost him.
Beautiful fight from Andy here.
Oh, absolutely.
He's happy with that pace right there.
Yeah, and if you saw Andy there, he stopped for a little bit when he came across the first hopper and waited for a certain pattern. And he kind of forced the hopper pattern that he wanted out of it so that he wouldn't have to slow down later into the run. So now he knows exactly what they're going to do and he can respond accordingly. And that's going to set up this next screen as well for Andy.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier about Dave, the way he controls the hoppers or jumpers, whatever you're going to call them. Like, there's ways to control them so they act like the way you want them to act like. So it comes down to a little bit of how you can manipulate them.
And that is a large part of what makes it so consistent that they can get these crazy times that they've been getting. A runner named Zeemond discovered how to manipulate the hoppers and how to manipulate the Joker fight at the end of the game, to the point where it isn't random anymore. They can control it to a certain degree. It's just a matter of, for the hoppers, how much time do you waste doing it, or do you just push for the luck?
We've got Andy here and Dexter. They're going to focus on those two because it looks like they're on really good pace here.
Dexter was on a really good pace until those hoppers jumped all over him. But Andy's on a pretty strong run right now. He's got really good health going into this climb. These are... so what he's doing when he's kind of jumping off of these spinning cogs, we call it cog skip, because obviously we do, is those are, I think, 2 frame windows to get those jumps without taking damage, and it saves a little bit of time. I don't know how much.
Doesn't really save you that much, but it definitely saves you enough time to be happy with it.
Oh,
to be
exactly,
able to do it.
yeah.
Like, you wouldn't do it otherwise.
Yeah, so he's a little bit behind his PB right now, but I don't know where his PB's big time saves are.
I think Andy had a time save of 1.2 seconds after the boss on this act. So he has a really good Act 4 boss kill. So if he can get the stage perfect here, he can save a lot of time here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it looks like Dexter just reset. Dave is in the beginning of Act 1 as well, so he's kind of into that Act 1 reset loop that kind of every runner falls into for a little bit.
Oh yeah, sometimes you can't even get out of, like, you can just sit down and play this for like a couple of hours, and you can't just get out of it because the game doesn't want you to get that perfect stage 1.
Whenever I do attempts of this, I swear I get stuck in Act 1 for 30-40 minutes sometimes.
You're not alone with that. And people
no, exactly.
People sometimes complain that it's getting boring now. Switch game.
Yeah, pretty much. So especially once you get into that point where the Act 1, you need the moth to dive really quickly in order to actually set up the rest of your run. When you're in the just trying to break into the sub 11 minute barrier, it's not that big of a deal, but once you're into the low 10 minutes, you need a perfect stage 1 every time. So Andy's on a really good pace here, but his ammo isn't great. He's only at 14 ammo, so this might end up biting him.
He's been using a little bit too much ammo here. Might be a little bit of a worry here, but there's way to get to ammo here. So.
Oh, that was an interesting way to get through that tank. He got kind of stuck on that spike car, and that was a very interesting backup strat for it. He missed that heart drop though, and he didn't get any ammo drops, so I kind of think this run's dead for him.
Got a little bit of ammo there, but a heart here would be great.
And it's really difficult to take down this boss without taking at least 1 hit of damage. But I mean, that was a beautiful boss.
Oh, look at this. This is just that perfect run. I think he's like just around his PB pace right now.
He's only a little bit behind it. He probably doesn't have enough to get the world record, but he can have an incredibly strong finish to this.
This could be like the closest we get to a world record run, to be honest, depending on how the hours we will see of this game. But this could be very close to it.
It definitely could be. It's hard to say. This game definitely goes in waves where you can get a bunch of really strong runs early, and then you just reset for the next 3 hours. That was a rare mistake for him on the climb there, but it doesn't cost too much time, so he should be okay. Oh. Arnold just said Andy is 0.9 behind and he can save about 2 seconds on this stage.
Well, that's insane that he can save about 2 seconds on the last stage. That's just shows how, if you can't get a clean run, this world record's gonna get destroyed.
Well, and it also shows how much wiggle room he has. Like, he can be pretty far behind and still have enough to... Oh, and he dies on Firebug.
Yeah. Firebug is one of the worst bosses in the game, I would say. Like, if you don't get the pattern down, it's just GG.
Oh, it definitely is. Like, if you don't get him stuck in the loop, like, you can kill him and it feels relatively fast, but you're losing, 1 to 3 seconds doing that every time.
Let's see, we got Stance here. It looks like Stance could be on a decent run here. Commentators first, though.
Oh, well, yeah, now that we've said it. Oh, there you go. The moment you said it, he got hit by that hopper.
Telling you, it's the commentator's curse. It is actually real.
Yeah, it for sure is. And because he got hit by that, it screwed up the pattern for the next hopper, and he wasn't able to get through there as quickly as possible. Once you make one small mistake, especially on an RNG enemy like that, it all starts to kind of pile up on you, and it's really difficult to kind of to claw your way back from that.
And this is what we're talking about, that this is like one small mistake, and either it won't cost you that much time because you can save a lot of time somewhere else, but it could also be that mistake that makes it impossible to get the run you want to have.
Exactly. I know for Dave in particular, he with the way that he plays the game, he manipulates the hoppers into exactly the patterns that he wants. So if he gets off of his rhythm, the hoppers aren't going to give him what he wants, and he's going to waste time trying to correct for it. So
yeah, this is like just seeing these guys go at it, like going to go at it for a couple of hours here is. I think we can say that the Batman community, like just the speedrunning community, have to really get the hype for this game right now in the community is just the highest I've ever seen it.
Oh, it's definitely the highest I've ever seen it. And MJ asked if the glitch is random or if you can manipulate it. So what the runners do is every time they reset the game, they hold down the start button, and that will buffer the inputs all the way through every cutscene. And every time they beat a boss, they hold down start as well, so they get through every cutscene on the first frame possible. And that manipulates the pattern that you get from the Joker. And from there, they have to kill the Joker at a very, very specific rhythm, so that the last hit on the Joker hits on the same frame that one of his lightning bolts hits the ground. So they have a setup for it. You can actually get it fairly consistently, but it definitely feels random, and if you're one frame off, you don't get it. So it's not true pure RNG, but it feels like it, and it's almost close to.
I mean, sometimes, like you're saying, it sometimes feels like RNG, but sometimes there's more than just RNG when it comes to games like this. Like we explained before, that if you you talked about like the mashing, if you mash too fast, the game will not register it, and it will just turn out like a big pancake. It will just fail. it's rhythm, and it's got all these small technical jumps and task jumps, and there's so much more than that as well. So it's just crazy to think about it.
Pretty much in this game, pretty much every time you jump, there's a purpose to it. Every time you jump, you waste about, I don't remember the exact number, but a couple of frames for every time you jump. So you want every jump to be thought out and methodical. So you'll find that the runners are all jumping in specific spots, switching weapons in specific spots, throwing weapons in specific spots so that they don't slow down at all, and they're accomplishing excuse me, they're accomplishing multiple things with every action or setting up for the next sequence. So we got Dave's coming up to the Act 3 boss here. We'll see how
looks like he's on a decent pace here. A little bit short on ammo going to the next stage.
A little bit, but that was a really fast kill. So if he gets lucky enough, he can get through with a good pattern and hopefully get some good weapon drops coming. That is a terrible pattern. That's basically the one pattern you don't want to see, is when that hopper neutral jumps twice, because there's no easy way to get through him.
Yeah, so that's definitely just a reset. Don't think about just push forward with another run, because there's no point in just trying to do anything.
Yeah, and I think Dave looked at his ammo situation, and he looked at how much time he just lost there and went, you know what, it's not worth going for another run, just reset, start over, and finish the next one. Yeah, none of these guys really need practice at the end game. They're all incredibly practiced at this, so now it's just getting the run under their belts, where everything lines up and they perform flawlessly.
Stuff they have probably practiced before. Before this even went live today, they have been practicing the last few days. Like, these runners are so fresh. Like, the last few times I've watched them play anything at all has been this game. Because they have known that we were going to do this for I think for at least a week. And
oh yeah,
this has been on the mind. So
a couple of weeks now. So. Yeah, yeah. While Ranium there is saying everyone here has over 10,000 attempts on their live split counters, and not including practice time or anything like that. So they're well versed in what this game has to offer at every point.
Yeah, I think Dave had before he got his sub 10, he had almost 20,000 attempts.
I know he's really high up there. So it's if it's not 20,000, it's just shy of.
And when you think about it, it wasn't that long ago Dave broke that sub 10 in this game, and now he's down to very close to he could break the world record if he gets the perfect run he needs. So just shows you, if you're dedicated and you want to improve, just play this game. Just practice this game every day.
Well, exactly. I remember watching Dave grind for the sub 10, and it took him 8 months, almost a year, to go from 1004 to, or 1005 maybe, to a 959. And then since his 959, I think he's PB'd twice in just a few months. Yeah, so sometimes it's just breaking into that next barrier, and you get the monkey off your back, and then you're set, you're ready to go. And he's having paces now that he never even would have dreamed of a year ago.
Yeah, the fun part when it comes to Dave, Dave's if we're going to talk about the other runners, are very gifted. They're gifted at playing the game, and they understand all the stuff that needs to be understood. But Dave really goes deep on the stuff. He really analyzes the stuff from the game, this saves you this much time, and if you improve, he knows what's needed, pretty much get that world record place, we talked about, maybe a 951, 952. So he really likes to break down the game even more than maybe the others want to do, because they just want to play the game and just do it right there and then. So.
Well, and another thing as well is Dave's kind of he's the epitome of the grinder type. So Andy and Dexter they're constantly at the top of the ranks of greatest NES speedrunners of their generations, for sure. And Stans is quickly rising the ranks and just demolishing a number of games that he's coming into. Whereas Dave kind of puts his nose down and he studies every aspect of the game. And then he practices. He practices a lot, he does attempts, and he doesn't skimp out on the hard stuff. He goes in and from day one says, I'm going to do everything the world record does, and what time I get is what time I get.
Yeah, and that's just pure determination to just become the best in the world at the game.
Exactly. He was stuck at third place in this one for a long time, and he finally climbed into second, whatever it was, 6 days ago, just for Dexter to take his second place spot back. But
well, he did say that it might not long last, but I finally broke into the top 3 in this game, so
exactly.
it was like he was going to enjoy it for the short time it was going to last.
Alright, so we'll see here. Dave's coming up on the Act 2 boss. We'll see what time he enters there. He missed a conveyor jump. That's a 2-frame jump. He probably just hit the jump button just a little bit too late. It doesn't save a huge amount of time, but every second counts here. Oh, sorry, I said Dave. I meant Dexter. Their little icons are next to each other, and I got confused.
There's a lot of D's here.
Exactly.
Dexter,
way too many D's
Junker
in this
Dave,
game.
Andy Swee, like there's just Stans that doesn't have one, so...
Exactly. So that was a very solid Act 2 kill. So he should be in here on a really, really good pace.
I think he lost in his PB pace, like his last recent PB. I think he lost a little bit on just that kill. So he has room to improve just from that little portion of the game.
One of the strong things about Dexter as well is because he's been running this game so long, he knows all of the patterns, he knows how to react to every situation, and he can kind of keep going through adversity that I feel some of the other ones can't, and still get a very, very good time.
Yeah, and also just to think about it, like Dexter haven't really been running this game for a while. I mean, I wouldn't say it for a long time, but like we said, like some stuff brought him back from a little small like retirement from speedrunning, and you can just see like he just got a new PB, and it just shows like he doesn't need he can take a long break if he wants to, but it's so easy for him to just go back to it, you know.
Oh yeah, Dexter I think is one of those guys that is always on form with this game. He probably needs 1 or 2 no resets, and then he's just right back into exactly where he was when he left. To be able to PB into a low 957 after taking a several month-long, maybe even over a year-long break from this game is insane.
And we have to, like, I just want to say this as well. I remember Dexter told me that he accidentally deleted his original PB, like splits. So he's been racing a completely, like, a different one. So just having that in mind is, like, it's pretty, like, hard, like, oh, I'm behind here, or I can't gain from this. Like, it looks bad for a while, and then just getting the new PB I just got, like, 2 days ago must have been a sweet feeling to go back.
Oh, for sure. Dexter also just got an amazing Act 3 boss kill, where he only took 2 damage where normally you would take 3, and he killed the boss before the boss even attempted to attack him a second time, which is about as fast as you can do it, maybe only frames off of a perfect kill.
Yeah, so Dexter is...
Unfortunately, he got a little bit of bad hopper patterns again here.
He should be on a good pattern, like on a good pace. Should be, but you never know what happens.
Exactly. With those hoppers, it definitely slowed him down quite a bit. He should still be able to finish out this run, but it's hard to say what kind of time he'll be on. I think he'll push through it because he has good ammo. He's hoping for some health drops here.
Yeah, he's running low here, and one small mistake. Well, there we go. He gets 1 heart at least. But like, there's so much stuff in this game that can just like hurt you in this game. So it's just so easy to kill a run by one. Like, if you touch the D-pad wrongly, it's going to end bad.
Well, and because he had I think he tried to punch those guys and he just mistimed it there. But he had to take a slower route through for 2 there because he had such low health. So he could have preserved the run, but he was starting to lose time anyway.
Yeah, I feel like at that point he was not that upset that he had to reset.
No, most likely not. He wasn't set up for a great spot to even just finish out the level, let alone the game. So we'll see where everyone else is here. Dave is coming up on the task jump, so if he gets these, we can see what kind of pace he's going to be in going into the Act 2. Oh, he missed. That was an interesting way to miss that. So he can still have a decent Act 2, but he's going to lose a lot of time to his PB.
See, it looks like he's determined to go for it at least, so might be able to save something out from this run.
You know, it wasn't a huge time loss. Like, it was only probably about half a second or so. So he can definitely go through, and as long as he gets everything else perfect or reasonably close to perfect, he'll still be on a good pace. It just won't be as good of a pace as he had hoped. So all the other runners are in Act 1 here, so we'll see if any of them get out of that first. Yeah, Stan's he successfully did the Act 1 manipulation, so he's out of there with 74 ammo. So as long as he doesn't waste a lot of ammo and he gets relatively lucky drops, don't even need very lucky drops, then he's pretty much set for the rest of the game.
It just comes down to those drops and how much ammo you need to have to use, because sometimes you have to use a little bit more than you really want to do.
Well, and with the way that the drops work as well, if you get, if I remember right, they cycle every 0.3-ish seconds. So you can kind of determine your pace off of what weapon drops you're getting. But if you get into kind of like a bad cycle, where normally you would be getting ammo, but instead you're getting bonus points, which are useless, then even though you're playing the game better, you're not getting the ammo drops you need. So it kind of puts you at a disadvantage. I know I've seen all of these runners kind of run into that, where they're, 0.3, 0.4 seconds ahead leaving Act 1, and then they get into Act 2 and they just don't get ammo drops, and they start hemorrhaging ammo early, and sometimes it doesn't fix itself until Act 4, and you just don't survive that long sometimes.
You're so correct about that. We have just talked about just in general, one mistake here or accidental death. Everything can happen in a game like this. Like, or then you have that perfect run up until Firebug, and you then stare. So it's easy to, the nerves comes out from time to time as well. So.
Oh, for sure. Like, nerves are a huge thing in this game, especially because you see green paces so rarely going into the end of the game. Nerves just ultimately become a factor. And
I think Andy, just recently, just like yesterday, he had a gold split somewhere in the run. And just think about how it sounds bizarre when you think about it, because he's the world record holder of this game and managed to get out a gold from out of nowhere.
If I remember right on that same one, he was 2.7 seconds ahead of PB when that run died, which is crazy considering not only does he already have the world record, but he has the world record and he's 2 seconds, almost a full 2 seconds ahead of anybody else.
Yeah, so I mean, imagine if that was the PB, like the PB run he had, like that would be, I mean, well, for us watching this today and for us doing the commentary on this one, it would probably not be wouldn't be a point of doing this today if he smashed that.
No, if he had smashed the record yesterday, we could have just spent 3 hours just replaying his PB and called it good, because no one would have beaten that one.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's just insane what can happen.
Yeah, Stans was on a really good pace here into the Act 2 boss, but I think he just probably just had a controller mishap and just kind of got off rhythm, and he didn't have a great kill there. So it wasn't terrible, but it's hard to say if he'll be able to come back from that. Not with this hopper pattern. Yeah, he's gonna reset that.
Yeah, those hoppers is like they are absolutely the worst enemies in the game, I would say. Just the way they act, they can be brutal, especially if like you said earlier, if you want to break into like a sub 11, if you don't really understand the manipulation of or the way you enter a certain time, they can be what really it's a make or break, more or less.
Well, and they're one of those things too where you can, depending on the pattern they give you, when you're first learning the game, you can get through the screen what feels like relatively quickly, but it actually ended up costing you like 7 seconds, 8 seconds because you had to stop to deal with their patterns.
Yeah, I remember when I first started out doing this game, and I was like, oh, this is going pretty fast, and then when you get faster in this game, and you were like, that was real slow when thinking about it, so you can always do it faster.
And I think that's kind of what all 4 of these guys have proven, is that whatever strats the rest of us are thinking of, they've found ways to improve everything that we're doing. So, I mean, and some of it is unintuitive things as well. What they've discovered recently is that like the height of Batman's jump and jumping in the air and staying airborne longer is actually faster than walking certain distances. So you'll find that they're trying to stay in the air with all of their jumps as long as possible and not bonk onto ceilings and not fall off ledges and stuff, because it saves, you know, a frame or 2 frames, and you do that constantly across the run, and there's an entire second that you've saved that's largely goes unnoticed to a layman viewer.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're new tuning in and wondering if this is a race or not, I mean, we could kind of call it a race. We're racing, or chasing rather, the world record for Batman video game for the NES. We got the top 4 that I would say is the best runners right now, and we're going to have a few hours of this, just these going at it, and see who can if we can get a new world record tonight.
Yeah, we've got at least 2 of them are out of the level 1 hell, the level 1 reset fest, as everyone kind of likes to call it. Dexter and Stans are both in Act 2, so we'll see if they can get out of this. Oh, Dave is as well, but he just walked off a ledge, so we'll just ignore whatever happened on Dave's screen.
Come on, Dave, don't walk off the ledge.
Yeah, come on, Dave. Get it together, man. Act right.
You're on speed gaming, you can do that stuff in your own channel, right?
It's one of those things. I'm sure every single person that runs this game has those moments where they hit jump, or they thought they hit jump, and they just walk right off a ledge, and it looks hilarious for the viewers, and it feels so humiliating for yourself.
Yeah, that just makes you, like, it tilts you out a little bit, because you're sitting there, you're swearing to yourself, like, I did this, I'm 100% sure I paused here, like, I did something at least, I did this correctly, and it didn't respond, and then maybe you blame the controller, and then you'd be like, nah, it was just me.
Yeah, it's almost never the controller, usually it's you. You can blame the controller all you want, though.
Oh, I blame the controller all the time. It's not me. I'm too perfect at the video game.
Exactly. Okay, I'm just gonna cut out for 1 second here. So Alex, you're gonna be on your own. I'm sorry.
No worries. We got a good kill here from Dexter on the Act 2 boss. I think Stans is on a pretty decent pace here, so I don't really know Andy's until he enters the door over here. It looks like it's pretty crisp. Yeah, it's a good time for Andy at the door. 250. seeing Stans here doing the climb up here. It looks like he's on like what he considers is a really good pace. It's hard for us to tell since we can't really see their splits right now. So it's always like a gamble here, sitting here and saying, "Oh, this is very good," and then they're like behind compared to what their PB is, and then you feel like, where can they save that much time? We know that some of these runners have huge time saves on different places. Just need to get that perfect run, which is super hard when it comes to a game like this. Looks like Andy got the pattern he wants for the hoppers down here, so he should be on a good pace here. Let's see here, Stans is having another good fight here with the electrocutioner. Another one time again that he only takes two in damage. The way he can just finish off the bosses here is just on a different level. That's why Stans is like many runners here, like Dave, Dexter, and Andy have said, Stans could be the one that breaks the world record completely. So all of our runners right now is out of that first stage. Stage 2 is gone. We don't think about stage 2. Stage 3 and stage 4 it is. It'd be interesting to see where our runners is and pace time. And to the question chat, this game is made by Sunsoft, hence why the awesome soundtrack in the game. Unfortunately for Dave, he's back on that stage 1. He didn't pay for a DLC for this game. Stan's having some issues there. I don't know how much that will cost him, but he's continuing, so it could be that he's continuing because he has so much ammo here. Could still save a really good time here. Could be a PvP pace for Stans. Beautiful fight here on the cubes from Stans. So here we could go. Both Stans and Dexter is on their cube. Will have done their cube fights. The climb here is going to be super crucial here, at least for Stans right now. I think Stans is the one with the best run so far. So this is very well a PvE pace.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely PvE pace.
Yeah, this is a really this is a really good run here. He had just 2 amazing runs, like Electrocutioner in Act 3 and the cubes was really beautiful.
Oh, and Andy had he missed the perfect Diggler kill, but he didn't get knocked off the platform, so he's on a pretty good pace here as well.
I'm starting to think that Stans might get the nerfs here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that last jump after you kill that last spike car, it is so easy to bonk your head and fall into the gears, and a lot of runners make that mistake. I think that was one of the things that killed Andy's run yesterday or the day before.
Yeah. And he firebug jumps, so I think that is not a PB for Stans.
It's going to be a really good finish, though, depending on how this Joker fight goes.
Dexter's run here can be very good as well.
Oh, he missed the Joker kill, but he's still gonna finish with like a 10:01. Yeah, 10:01, which is amazing. So we'll switch over to Dexter now and see how that's gonna be close. He missed the Joker kill by frames.
Yeah, but it's still a good one. That's a sub 10, right?
Yeah, that's definitely like a 9:59.9 somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Still have Andy's run here. I don't really know how he's on pace time, pace-wise.
It'll be difficult to tell until he enters the door here. I think you're kind of looking at a... Ooh, that was an unfortunate mistake, but...
Yeah.
I think for him, a 9:24 door entry will be PB pace, somewhere around there. Oh, he's taking a lot of hits, a lot of slowdown though, so that probably is gonna take him out of it. Yeah, he's too far behind. He can still have a really good finish here though.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is going to be a very good run as well.
It's always scary coming into Firebug with 1 health, because if he breaks out of this pattern, you're dead. So he got through Firebugs, so let's see how Joker goes.
The nice part with this game is that at least it gives you a little bit of a refill on the health before going into Joker.
Well, exactly. It's after every boss fight, you refill 4 of your 8 available health. So, and that includes Firebug. So that is huge going into the last fight. And Andy finished with a 10:02. So we've had a 10:01, a 10, and a 10:02 in the last couple of minutes. So that's amazing.
Crazy. Just going to say it like this. Shout out to our runners here. If you like what they're doing, just go and check them out. They're just amazing runners that's just breaking this game in all ways possible.
Yeah, Stans and Dave, at the very least recently, have all been still making regular attempts at this. Dexter kind of came back once Stans encroached on his PB and beat his PB, and then Dexter came back. I'm not sure what Endy's been doing. He's been tied up in a lot of tournaments and all that kind of stuff, so it'll be interesting to see what he starts regularly streaming after this is all done.
Andy has been like going back and forth, finding new speedrun games because it's Andy.
Hey, of course. He's got to make the leaderboards on as many games as possible. As difficult as possible for the rest of us.
The insane part is that when he goes all in, it's for a record pretty much every single time. So.
Yeah, you pretty much know if Andy has a time in anything, it's a really solid time. So Dave is out of Act 3 with really good health and really good ammo. So we'll see how Act 4 goes here. I kind of usually base it off of the door entry coming up into 4-3.
Daisy got a good pattern from the jumper there.
Yeah, so he's gonna backwards Dirk that guy. He's gonna stop for a second, and he's gonna battering that guy, and that manipulates his pattern so he doesn't follow him. So then the rest of 4-2 here is just straight execution. There's no randomness to it, and he has really good health and really good ammo. So he's set up for 4-3, which is the most difficult part of stage 4 for sure, and in my opinion, it's the most difficult part of the game. There's so many little things going on.
Got a little bit more health there, so he's almost at the full health there.
He is at full health now.
So.
And that's one of those things where if you just get on the right drop cycle, then the game will kind of give you everything that you need. So he's at 7:09 entering this, so I think that's 9:57 pace, 9:57, 9:56. So if he has a really clean finish for this, he might not be able to world record, but he can definitely PB.
I just see how it goes now.
So if Dexter had the glitch, I don't think that would have been world record a critic cap, but it would have been really, really close. It probably would have been a tied PB for him.
Let's see here that Stans decided to go back and do some work here on Joker fights. Get some practice in it before he starts the next run. Always good to go back. If you're stuck in like reset looping on stage 1, just go do some practice on the other stages. Get out of your mindset and go back to the runs again, and you will make it out of stage 1 without problems. Because sometimes it's just sometimes you just do it harder for yourself.
Okay, so Dave got in here on a really, really good pace. He's got awesome health, so he's actually set up really well. So we'll see how Act 5 goes for him here. Again, Act 5 is all execution up until Firebug and Joker.
This could be very good for Dave right now here. If he can get a good climb here.
And he has more than enough ammo, so he doesn't have to rely on any drops here at all. So he's just got to get through this cleanly and not make any mistakes.
Even if this is not a world record pace, this could be sounds like a high 956.
So, and reminder, each one of these jumps they make under the cogs is a 4-frame window, and the 4 frames are different depending on where you jump off the wall, so it is all just feel and memory.
Look how he makes them so beautiful here right now.
Oh, this is really good. He's just got 2 more jumps to make. He got through what I consider the most difficult jump in the game.
You told me he had a bad Firebug, right?
He did. He lost a 1.5 seconds on Firebug. So that Firebug gave him a fast charge, so as long as he maintains this loop, he's on really, really good pace here. And that was a really fast Firebug.
Yeah, okay, this is good. This is good, guys. If you want to get some hype up now, it's now.
Yeah, this is going to be really close. If he gets the glitch, it'll be PB, I believe. Oh, he was too early. Actually, if he had gotten the glitch, that probably would have tied world record.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal time, though.
Yeah. Yeah, 10:01 without the glitch. Oh, so that probably would have tied his PB, not world record. But still, that's an incredible time.
Just the whole climb he did. Like, the climb was so perfect. Like, you can't really ask more for a climb like that.
No, that's exactly what everyone is looking for, is a climb like that with no slowdowns, with everything executing perfectly. He didn't get stun locked on any of the enemies he skipped through. Yeah. And we've had a 10-minute time or close to from all 4 runners, so.
And that's pretty crazy, because it wasn't that far, not that long ago, the world record was around the 10-minute mark, so.
Yeah, and it hovered around the 10-minute mark for a long time until Andy and Dexter really started challenging each other and pushing everything down lower and lower and lower, and saving frames here, frames there. When I started running this game, Dexter had the world record at 10:15. So, and they've somehow managed to take 20 seconds off of that time, which to me is crazy.
I mean, it is it is super crazy when you think about it.
Okay, so now that we've got all of that hype out of the way, now we're going to be into the Act 1 resets again. So if you watch Dexter and Dave on the left there, they're both kind of jumping and killing enemies in a very, very specific pattern in order to pick up those weapon drops, to get as many of them as possible without slowing down too much. And ideally they'd be leaving this screen with around 72 or 62 is the ideal amount. Stans actually has a slightly different setup that does the same thing, and he actually leaves with 74 ammo because he kills the enemies in a slightly different way. But he's still killing the enemies on the same frame range that all of the other ones are.
We got a question in chat from how long this will go. We had at least 3 hours, and I think we're like, I don't know, 1.5 hours in.
Yeah, we've got about another hour and a half left.
So
and every runner has gotten a really good pace run under their belts now, so I have a feeling that it could happen at any moment, or we could just see a lot of really great Batman play. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, even if we don't get the world record here tonight, it's just a privilege to see these 4 runners going in. Like, I know it's not a race like this, like a normal race, but they're still up head to head against each other. So it is a race about that world record place.
Well, and all 4 runners have they've achieved the time that, other than themselves, only one other person has beaten, and that was Arcus recently posted a 9-minute 59-second run. The 6th place time, if I remember correctly, is a 10:06, so like significantly behind where the top 5 runners are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Arcus, since you mentioned him, he just got it recently as well. So
yeah, I believe within the last week, Arcus got his 9:59. So the hype for Batman is real, and there's a lot of really, really good players still actively playing it.
Yeah, there's if you go into speedrun.com and check out the Batman, the video game, like that leaderboard, like the recent week or weeks, there's a lot of like new PBs you can check out. Like if you want to see what other runners have done in their runs compared to these 4 top runners here, it's you can tell like what you need to do if you want to improve by just watching these 4.
And actually, looking at it as well, I misspoke. It's Hyrexen is in 6th place with a 10:09, so a full 10 seconds behind 5th place. So it takes that much determination and just grinding and perfect execution in order to break into that 10-minute barrier.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane how, like, you need to be real tough. Like, you need to be on top of your game.
Yeah, and what I don't understand from Dexter's perspective is, if I don't play this game for 2 or 3 days, I feel like I have to relearn it for like 3 days just to get back into form. And Dexter can just jump in and out whenever he wants and set new PBs after month-long hiatuses.
I feel the same. Like, I know the same feeling. When I returned recently, I was like, how do I even play this game?
Yeah, I haven't. I think my last PB was almost a year ago now, and I'm afraid to even attempt it because I might not even be able to break the 11-minute barrier, let alone get into the low 10s.
Nah, you can do it. It's Batsember after all. So.
You know what? Now's the time to do it. If anything, Batsember is a go for everybody.
And hey, you don't even need to be good at the game. You just time your run and be happy with it.
That's the glorious thing about speedrunning from my perspective, is you don't have to always contend for world record. It's you versus the game. If you want to get a 15-minute time and beat the game deathless, then go ahead. That's an incredible achievement. This is, in my opinion, one of the harder NES games out there to beat casually.
Oh, it is. It took me at least a couple of hours to beat this one.
I want to say my first playthrough was probably almost 3 hours to beat it. This is one I owned as a kid, and I never beat it. In the 10 years that I attempted when I was a child, I never beat this game. So, and then I came back in my early 20s and managed to demolish it in an evening. So.
I mean, these games were like they were made back then. Like they were not made for kids. Like they went hard. Like they want people to go and rent the game to make a living there.
Well, especially when you look at it, and it's once you get good enough at the game, you can easily beat it in under 20 minutes. It's that skill ceiling has to be high in order to justify people spending $50 in 1989 to buy a video game.
Oh yeah, there's so many hard games on the NES, and this one is absolutely in, like, I would say top 10 at least.
I would agree with that. Dexter, actually, if we watch Dexter right now, he's on a really good pace run. He entered this screen at 4:47. And Dave's on a good run too, but he was almost a full 5 seconds behind where Dexter is, so it'd be interesting to see if he gets out of Act 3 here.
It looks like Andy's a little bit stuck there after that run recently.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, especially in the early game, you do get stuck quite often in these reset loops, or you miss one of the difficult jumps in Act 2, and it just throws off the rest of the game so much that you have to restart. Yeah, Dave and Dexter, like, look at the time difference here. It's almost a full 5 seconds in between where the two of them are. So I think Dexter's on a really good pace run right now.
Yeah, if Dexter can get this to just play his, like...
Ooh.
No,
that was a slow kill. The boss jumped an extra second time. He was one hit point away, but I think that's only about a second and a half loss, so it's not the end of the world.
If Dexter can get a good run here from this stage, it could still be a PB run.
Oh, for sure. And he's got really good health. We'll see what these hoppers give him. That was a good pattern. And then he does the little bit of a pause to manipulate the next one so he can just run right through. And getting through that door at 6:23 is really, really good.
Yeah, he's definitely on the PB base, Dexter. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and we'll see where Stans is here. He's coming up, so it'll probably be a 4:18. Yeah, 4:18 going through that door, which, again, that's really good. It's probably not world record pace at the moment, but probably PB pace for him. It's one of those things where if you can save more time earlier, it just sets you up so well for the end. But it's definitely not insurmountable for him. Yeah, that was a 707 entry into 4-3 for Dexter, so he's on a really, really strong pace right now.
I'm going to focus here on Stans and Dexter here, so enjoy the view on these two magnificent runners.
Yeah, we'll see if Dexter can get past Diggler here. This is a really difficult kill, but that's perfect. It's so hard to explain how difficult that Diggler kill is on that spike car in 4-3, the one that Dexter just got through. It's one missed time punch and you're knocked off and your run is over. That was a beautiful stairs by Dexter, so he's got lots of health. I didn't see his ammo, we'll find out in a second here. Oh, he doesn't switch it to check ammo. Most of us do.
Dexter's like, I think Dexter knows he's on really good pace. He don't want to do anything right now. He just wants to finish this part off.
Oh, and he got a bad pattern from the cube.
He got the cubes. He got cubed.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. He was on a really strong pace there.
And now we got all the runners back at stage 1.
Yeah, so that cube kill that Dexter failed, there's actually a way, so you can tell from the way that the boss shoots the fireballs what pattern you're going to get. And actually, if you pause the game and then wait a little bit, because that boss is on a global timer, you can manipulate the pattern that you get, or so you can skip shots and get more damage in. It wastes a little bit of time because you have to obviously pause the game, but it makes it so that no matter what pattern you get, you can set up for the fastest kill. So I'm actually a little surprised Dexter didn't go for it, but maybe he thought he was on a different pattern, or maybe he just decided, you know what, I'm gonna risk it.
I'll risk it for the biscuit.
Exactly. And no Tech Gambino, no world record yet, but we've had all 4 runners have finished a 10-minute run. I think we've had 2 10-minute runs, a 10:01 and a 10:02. So,
that is correct, so that's crazy times.
Yeah.
I mean, we have had runs that's been like super close to at least PBs for few of runs. It's just that final thing, like during the climb, or like, you know, the last part that really, like the glitch and Joker, that's been missing out. So it's just one or 2 things that needs to, you know, before we get that perfect run.
Yeah, Andy was on pace to beat the record, and I don't remember if he died to Firebug or if he just had a bad Firebug.
He had a bad climb, I think.
Oh, that's what it was. You're right. So, and then who else? We've had a couple. I don't think they were world record, but definitely PB paces that either missed the glitch or just one mistake here. I think Stan's had a bad Firebug. Dave missed the glitch. I don't remember what happened in Dexter's run. He might have just been a little bit too far behind.
I think Dexter had the same thing, that he didn't get glitch because he was super close as well.
Yeah, we've actually only seen one glitch tonight, and it was during the race that we used to start off the event. So far, no one else has been able to get it.
It might sound easy that it's just a glitch, but it's not that easy to get it.
You can get consistent at it, but it is still, in the heat of the moment, it's a one-frame trick. Like, what you can only get so good at those.
Yeah, you know, also just like we talked about, like if you're like on a really hot pace, you're doing that climb. When you're on like PB pace, or like maybe for Indy like world record pace, the nerves comes out and you're doing that climb. That climb is so long when you're on that pace, because everything you're like, oh my god, like I can't fail anything, and you stress yourself up, and then something happens. That's just how speedrunning goes sometimes.
Oh, Dave got actually a really good Act 2 boss kill there. He entered at 334, and that was pretty clean, but his ammo isn't great, so... Oh, and then he got a bad hopper pattern. So we'll see what time Dexter's coming up on Act 2 boss now. Oh, that was an unfortunate little mistake there, but still a really good door entry, a high 334 door entry. So he'll get 2 bottom shots. Oh, sorry, 1 and then 2. 1 bottom shot, 2 top shots. So the time that you enter the Act 2 boss determines how the turrets at the bottom are going to shoot. So if you kind of learn their patterns, you can anticipate what's going to be coming up.
That's a bad pattern.
That was a really bad pattern. I think he tried to manipulate the second hopper there, but I think he just kind of mistimed it a little bit, and once both of them are chasing you, it's just reset. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah, we saw that on Andy during the race, the one that started out, and he got absolutely destroyed by the hoppers.
So it looked like Stan's had a little bit of a tough kill on Act 2 boss, but he's not that far behind his PB. So we'll see if he can close out this run. And then Endy's coming up to Act 2 now. So we'll see what time he enters, and we'll see what time Dave enters the Act 3 boss, and we'll kind of determine paces from there. But Endy looks like he's on a really strong pace.
Yeah, Andy's on real strong pace here. He's going to enter a door like, I don't know, like that is super strong though.
Yeah, 333 is one of the best door entries you're going to see. It's possible to get in at a mid to high 332 off of a perfect beginning.
Good kill as well there on the boss.
Very good kill. So Endy's on a really good pace right now. Yeah, and Dave just entered Act 4. I don't think his ammo was very good, though, if I remember right. Yeah, he's only got 7 ammo, so we'll see if he can get some lucky drops here. He's going to take out 2 of these guys, and he can... Oh, perfect. And then he might get some more here. No, just points. Yeah, so 6:26 leaving Act 4-1 is... that's a good pace. It's... I don't think he can world record from here, but he's probably able to tie his PB, I bet.
Might be like 1 frame PB for Dave.
Hey, a PB's a PB, man.
Yeah, it sure is. Like, you should never be ashamed if it's only 1 frame.
Exactly, especially in this game. I think 1 frame PB would tie him for second if I'm doing my quick math right. Or it'd be really close.
Well, you just might beat Dexter for like with 1 little thing in there, so I mean...
Exactly. It doesn't take much to move up the leaderboard for any of Dexter, Dave, or Stan's.
Stan does that kill again with only taking 2 damage.
That's a beautiful kill. It is so hard to do that. Your mashing has to be perfect, your rhythm has to be perfect.
And he's so consistent with it as well, so it's just insane to watch it. It's... I don't know how to explain it.
No, it's one of his strongest strengths as a runner is his consistency and his ability to find that rhythm and stay within it and get it every time.
And he's got good, both health-wise going in here and on the ammo.
Yeah, no, that was a standard quick kill for Andy, so could have been frames faster, but that's kind of what you expect out of the Act 3 boss. He's got a really good pattern off of Act 4. Oh, and Stan's got knocked down. So I think his run's done now. It's curious to see if he finishes.
Maybe not.
No, especially with only 1 health, yeah. I think he's going to reset here. So we'll see. Andy's entering... Ooh, 6:22 entering 4-2. That's really strong. So if Andy can close this out, this is going to be the best run of the night so far. Definitely the best pace I've seen coming into Act 4. And it looks like Stans is just taking a quick breather there. And
It's just good to take a break sometimes.
And you know, especially like if you just restart and just keep doing attempts, sometimes the frustration can get to you, so sometimes it's nice just to step back, catch a breather, and then come back a little bit refreshed. Yeah, this is a really good pace by Andy. I think it was 7:05 coming into Act 4-3.
3 hearts, just doing here, he's got really good health.
Yeah, he's got really good health. He's set for ammo. I don't think he needs a single ammo drop from here to the end of the game.
No, he doesn't need that. That little diggler thing, I don't like it. It freaks me out. I have trust issues with them.
I refuse to go for it. I've practiced it a little bit, and it is so hard. And especially when you're in the middle of a good pace run. That was an interesting strat. So he avoided taking damage from that tank and took him down super fast and gets more ammo. This is crazy pace.
If you want to get hyped, you should be now.
Yeah, definitely hype. He's going to enter this boss at like 803, 804. Low 804 entering cubes. That is crazy. And there he paused to manipulate the pattern so that he can take down the cubes really fast. So he loses a little bit of time, but he's fine.
He's good climb here and good boss fights, and this could be what we want to, what we want it to be.
You know what? And Zeman just said that Andy is 2.7 seconds ahead of PB.
Oh my god!
So that is crazy.
So I'm going to say this, Chad. Get your hypes up here.
Yeah, this is the moment. This could be it. And this is where Andy, as a runner, with all of his experience, getting into the endgame like this, hopefully he knows how to control his nerves and it's just straight execution. And I feel like he knows how to.
We have had runs the last few days where he have choked to the pressure, but this looks clean right now.
Oh, that was so clean getting through that without taking any damage.
My Yoko glitch here, and it's set, match, and done.
Yeah, the last time he was on this pace the other day, he bonked here, and he's through that clean. He's got full ammo, almost full health. We'll see how Firebug goes.
It's time to get your hypes up, chat.
This is crazy hype. Fast rush from Firebug, so he's gonna, as long as he keeps the loop, he's gonna save the maximum amount of time here. Oh, he escaped.
Oh,
no, that was still pretty quick though. He lost time, but I don't know how much.
Could this be the run though?
Oh, too fast. He punched Joker down too fast. Yeah. That would have been it.
Yeah, this is a good time though. This is an insane time.
That is a 9:57 glitchless.
This is the best time we have had tonight.
Easily the best time. If that had been a glitch, that would have been a high 9:54. If I'm adding it up right.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Andy's in there now. He's in the zone. He's in the zone, guys. If one or two more attempts, like to where he gets into, like he gets this pace, and he's going to have it tonight. I'm really feeling it now.
You know, Andy he's so close to being able to improve it. Like it's once he gets it, and he's right on the barrier of it. Once he gets the run, another run just like that, but with the glitch, and that's a new world record.
I wonder if if there was like glitchless category for this game. I wonder if that would have been our world record for it.
Oh, easily. If there was a glitchless category, that is for sure the world record.
Maybe time to add it to the leaderboards.
Could you imagine being on pace for a glitchless world record, and then you accidentally get the glitch? That would be heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, if you get it, you get the other world record.
Well,
so,
now you know that Andy set a 9:57 glitchless. Yeah. Oh, I mean, you know what? And he screwed up Firebug too, which Bad Breaks just pointed out. So that could have almost probably tied world record without the glitch. I mean, because he easily lost a second to Firebug.
Well, just think about it. Imagine if you go for the glitchless category, and you're the world record pace for that one, and you get the glitch, but you get the actual the glitched PB world record from out of a mistake instead. Oh,
that would be hilarious. Yeah. So Andy just said if he had gotten the glitch on that run, that would have been probably a low 9:53.
Yeah, if that would have been the run, saying like this, there's no way nobody's going to take that one from Andy in that case.
No, there are very few people. I don't remember what Dave's sums of best is, but I think it's like 9:51.9. So you'd have to play perfectly to your golds through the entire game in order to even come close to beating it. It's hard to say with Dexter because, like you said, he lost his splits recently. Stans, I think, has a 9:49 sum of best, so it's within his grasp as long as it doesn't get into the low 50s.
I wonder what Andy's sum of best is.
Oh, probably something crazy. Probably 9:48.
9:47 or something like that.
Oh, that'd be insane.
I mean, if he was like 2.3 seconds going up to Firebug, I mean, that must have been a new gold split somewhere during that run. So, I mean, you just imagine getting gold splits and world record play pace.
Well, exactly. I'm still surprised he's finding golds to save, if we're being honest with
the amount. Like, how do you do it?
Oh, Stans was on a really good pace into 2-2, but he just made one small little mistake there. I'm curious to see if he's going to finish out the screen and then decide if he wants to reset from there.
It's like we said, it comes down to one simple mistake, and it's over. We
Yeah,
saw it on.
he missed one of the task jumps, but he got the other one. He's probably gonna hit the door at like 251. Yeah, high
I can only
251.
dream about that one. I can only dream about 251 for the rest of my life. So
I think I got a 250 door entry once, and it was so momentous for me that I highlighted it, and I haven't gotten it since.
hey, at least you got it highlighted. You had done it. There was proof.
Exactly.
So,
There's proof that I've done it, so we're good. Okay, so if he got a 251 coming into here, so he's probably looking at a 334, 335 door entry into the Act 2 boss. Oh, that was a costly mistake, though, and his health isn't good.
I was going to say it as well right now while we were just waiting in for some times here. Like, if you're new checking in for the speed game, this is Batman for video game for the NES. We are chasing the world record. We just had an insane run from the world record holder himself, Andy. And we have Junker Dave, Dexter, and Stas. That is top 4 of the leaderboards of Batman.
Yeah, what's crazy for me for these leaderboards is for the longest time it was dominated by purely Swedish runners. It was, I think, Dexter, Endy, and then Infested Rich were, if I remember right, the top 3 runners at one point. And now it's, we've got Dave from Canada is in there, we've got Stans from Russia is in there, we've got Arcus from America is in the top 5 now at least.
Just trust me, the Swedes will come again.
Oh yeah, they're coming.
Let me de-rust and practice the good stuff, and one day maybe.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of us are still playing catch up.
And I pretty much think we will forever do that.
Yeah, if I remember right, Infested Rich set his, just because he's in chat right now, he set his PB of 10:15 over 2 years ago, and that is still an incredible barrier that only a handful of people have surpassed with all the new knowledge we have for the game.
I mean, no matter what time you have now, and maybe it's like it's not even close to the runs we have now on the boards. That's time that was was super good, and back in during that time, because during that time period we haven't really even broken the sub 10. So I mean, there's if you're going to watch, there's so many runs from a year ago and 2 years ago that's still high up on the board. It just tells that it's hard to beat them.
Oh yeah, those are incredibly difficult times to beat. Anything in the low 10 minute range, I'd say 10, 20 or lower, you're improving by a second at a time, and just you're grinding out better runs and better runs and better runs.
Gotta do the grind. You haven't speed run before you hit the grind run.
Second at a time, so.
I think we all remember that good old time when you just got that poverty PB with 1-2 seconds, and then you finally break out and you get a 5 second, then there's the 10 second, and then you just goes by so fast, and then you're down to the insane levels. So it doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't. I almost miss the days where you can have 30-40 seconds swings on your splits sometimes when you're first learning a game. Yeah. Endy's actually on a decent pace here. He had a 333 Act 2 boss entry. It wasn't a great boss kill, but it wasn't that slow. And as we've seen, he's got time to save everywhere because it's Endy, so that'll be one to watch. And we'll see what time Stans gets out of 2-1 here. Should be at 2:01 if he's done. Oh yeah, he took that one hit and he's just gonna reset.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's Andy. It doesn't matter what game he does. He finds that time save somewhere, and it's nobody understands how he does it.
No, Andy is an entirely different beast from the rest of us. Yeah, Dave and Dexter are finally into Act 2 after a little while here, so we'll see how this goes.
I feel like Dexter has been on a really good pace when he finally gets out from the stage 1 reset level. You know, when you haven't paid for DLC pack.
Where you actually have to earn and grind everything that you've got in this game.
Yeah. Like it's like you paid for the demo version, you only got stage 1, and it feels like that. Like it's sorry, but you have to buy the full game.
Okay, we'll see where they're at here. I think it's hard for me to watch here. I think Dave's just a little bit ahead of where Dexter is time-wise. Oh no, he somehow surpassed him, so who knows. We'll base it off of when they enter the doors at the end of the scenes they're on. And then Andy's coming up on the Act 3 boss, so this will be interesting.
This one boss, if you're not that good as Andy and the others, you want at least 4 in health on this boss, because you can't do it otherwise.
Yeah, 4 health is pretty much mandatory. There's an alternate kill that you can do that only costs 2 health instead of 3, I believe. But it's a little bit slower, so you won't see any of these runners go for it. But it's a good backup for race settings. Oh, and Andy just got demolished by the hoppers there, so he's gonna reset.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Oyster Printout points out here, and Andy's Act 3 boss wasn't great. The boss had an extra hop in there anyway.
That guy is a jerk sometimes.
Yeah, you know what? And sometimes he's surviving on like just 1 hit point because you missed 1 batarang, or your timing was just a little bit off, and he ends up costing you an extra second and a half.
The boss here on stage 2 that Dexter just destroyed. I would say that one is like one of the worst ones in the game. That boss and Firebug is like the worst, depending on the pattern you get. It's easy to...
Firebug is my least favorite, just because you can think you've got him stun locked in that batarang loop that they do, and then he just breaks out and ruins everything.
Either he starts jumping or he just starts punching you, and when he starts punching you, there's nothing you can do pretty much. So
yeah, once he starts punching, like, you cannot get back into the rhythm at all. You've just got to tank the hits and take him down as fast as possible. I don't think Dexter got through that hopper the way he wanted to, but he got through it, so I mean that's better than nothing.
No, it
that was an unfortunate jump, though.
I think it comes down now. The thumbs are starting to hurt now from all the jumping from the D-pad.
Oh, for sure. And it's so easy to make a simple mistake like that, and honestly, at that point, you've wasted so much time just jumping back and forth between walls that he might just finish out this stage, see his time, and then reset. Oh, especially after that hit there, because he's going to take 2 hits going for the cog skips. So he's going to be going into the boss with only 3 health unless he gets a heart drop. So this might be over for him.
We need some Joker fights from Stans and Dexter and Dave now. I feel like it's time for them to get a good run going here.
Yeah, they've had some good paces early game, and then they just couldn't quite get through. Act 4 has been kind of the big determining factor for a lot of them. You get bad hoppers at the beginning of Act 4, and you take too much damage, and you just can't quite finish the run.
Good fight there from Dexter.
Yeah, we'll see what time he... Hey, not optimal, still better than nothing. At least he's getting some Act 4 time in. His ammo's not great, but he's going to get a lot of chances for pickups here. He didn't get any there, but I usually find these two are really lucky. Yep. I almost always get ammo drops from those two.
Yeah,
and I
those
love
two. If you don't get ammos drop before you get it all there, and there's the run dead and over for Dexter.
Yeah. He was on a good pace, but it definitely wasn't his best pace of the night, so I don't think he minds throwing that one away. We'll see. Dave's coming up on the Act 2 boss. So let's see what time he hits the door. Probably going to be a 3:35, if I were to guess. Yeah, really low 3:35. Oh, that was unfortunate. He hit it at such a time that he didn't really have time to jump through those bullets. And yeah, he's just going to reset. Yeah, depending on the time you enter the Act 2 boss, he can shoot right away, and it's really difficult to dodge the bullets and start damaging them as fast as possible. You usually just end up wasting a bunch of time. But Stans is coming up on a really good pace here. He should be getting out of this at about 4:49? 4:48, sorry. So this is, again, another solid run from him. Ooh, that was unfortunate, but see if... No, I think he just took a whole bunch of damage really quickly just because he got off rhythm. Well, that was unfortunate, but he lost so much time at the beginning there that he was probably going to throw that run away anyway. So I think he's running through now just to get a little bit of practice in. Loading a couple of save states to try and correct that mistake. Yeah, I think what he did was he hit the jump button too early, so instead of jumping, he missed it and he just walked into the mine, and that threw him right off. Okay, so we've got ND is in Act 2, and everyone else is going to be resetting in Act 1 for a little bit, I have a feeling. We'll see if Dave can escape Purgatory here. Yeah, what you're looking for with the Act 1 boss is you want to enter at a really high 114, really low 115. And then the boss needs to dive immediately so that you can stun lock him with the batarangs like that and get out really fast. Otherwise, on the paces that these guys go for, you have to reset. It takes, I think, 2 seconds or something like that to get the second best pattern, and they just don't have that kind of time. Yeah, so it looks like Stans is taking a little bit of a break. We'll see if Dexter and Andy can get out of Act 1. Otherwise, Dave's going through Act 2. He doesn't have great ammo, though, and I think he's on a cycle where he's not going to get a lot of good drops here. So he has to kind of play it a little bit more conservatively with his dirks. And the one thing that separates Dave from the rest of them is he uses a lot of sub-weapon. He uses ammo like he's going to get it replenished all the time. Yeah, and with that low ammo and that mistake, he's just going to reset. But now Dexter is into Act 2, so we'll see how he does.
Oh, let's hope Dexter gets a good run here.
I hope so. It's really difficult when everyone's stuck in the early game, because, like we said, this game can just be a reset fest. Just trying to get out of Act 1.
You hit like a barrier at one point, and it's so hard to get out from that barrier, and but when you get out from it, usually you have a real kill run going, so hopefully that's what the runners need, or that they get that, killer run going. Pretty amazing that the runners here can push through so many hours, just pushing out, delivering runs after runs after runs. 250 at the door there for Dexter, so Dexter's definitely on a good pace. Stans makes it out from the reset grind.
Okay, sorry, I had to run away for a second there, but looks like we've got Dexter coming into the Act 2 boss, so...
Yeah, he's on a good pace.
Yeah, this is going to be a decent door entry, probably a 334. Yeah, which is really, really good pace. It is incredibly difficult to get to that point and enter this boss door at 334. Yeah, not the best kill. He got slowed down with that early shot that he got, but there's not much you can do about that.
For Dave and Andy right now, it is the reset grind here.
Yeah, and this game definitely becomes a reset grind. It's so difficult to get out of Act 1 because you're reliant on, getting all of the ammo drops. You're reliant on the moth diving so you can get a fast pattern just to get into Act 2, and then you get into Act 2, make one mistake, and you're back in Act 1.
Got a little bit slowed down there, Dexter, but it makes it out, so still on good pace though.
Yeah, I like to time it off of this door entry here. So a 448, almost 449 door entry into 3-3 is a pretty good pace. I don't think it's world record pace at the moment, but it's really, really strong. It might be PB pace for him.
And just being like that, like at this point, Dexter is just happy that he doesn't have to play stage 1 as well.
And you know what? Sometimes that's just it. It's even if you're not on PB pace, just play a little bit more of the game, get some of those stage 1, frustrations out of you, so that you can continue on with the rest of it. And he missed one cog skip there, and that was a little unfortunate.
I'm telling you, those cogs are like the worst enemy in the game, because you think you have it like the pixel, like because Bay basically has a pixel from touching it, and if you don't have it, then you can't do much about it.
No, you really can't. And it's, if I remember right, it's a 2-frame window to make that jump. It is incredibly difficult.
Nice quick kill there from Dexter on the electrocutioner. Good pattern as well. Kinda.
Yeah, he slowed down. So he manipulated that really well. So what he did was he neutraled the controller during that jump and slowed down just a little bit, so that he didn't waste a lot of time, but it changed the hopper's pattern so that it wouldn't chase him down. If he just kept running, kept holding right the entire time, that hopper would have chased him. So that was very well played by Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter it's a good run, Dexter. It's not, like you said, it's not a world record run, but it's definitely a PB run.
Oh, for sure. This is PB pace for him. And we'll see. Endy's finally out of Act 1, I just noticed. So he's coming up onto the 2-2 door. A little mistake there, but...
Dave is also out from jail. I think both Andy and Dave, even if they're not really super paced right now, it's going to be... They're just happy to be out from that stage 1.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It looked... Andy wasn't even on a great pace, but he was still about 2 seconds ahead of Dave here, so I think Dave's just kind of finishing out a run and hoping to get out of Act 2 and just play a little bit more of the rest of it. Yeah, but Dexter in Act 4, though. So, hopefully he doesn't miss Diggler here. I should say that after Diggler. Yeah, I cursed him. That's my fault, Dexter. I apologize profusely.
I thought you knew about the commentator's curse.
Like, it's real. It is real.
And he's going to take a little break here. I can't blame it. It's like almost 3. Like we're closing in on those 3 hours here. and I bet your fingers are sore now.
Oh, and sometimes you just need to get up and stretch your legs and shake out your limbs and just come back refreshed. So Dave actually just did something in Act 3 there that he's the only one of these runners that does it, where instead of jumping up and going around the pipes before that last set of hoppers, is he walks into the spikes at the bottom, and then he buffers a jump out of it, and that way he always gets the same hopper pattern without having to worry about like small input differences and stuff like that. So, but it costs 1 health to do that. So I think even if he's not on a great pace, I think he's just going to finish out a run, and I think that's how he'll get his nerves out of the way, because he's going to get a 450 door entry into 3-3 is really good, but he's got a lot of work to make up, I think, even just a PB at this point.
It is just to just get a feeling about the game again. Hopefully the run after this one is going to be better. Like, it might sound stupid, but even if you're playing this game every single day, but if you don't get out of stage 1, it can make you a little bit rusty on the other stages, so it's easy to make a mistake.
It's great to get out and shake those nerves. And that he missed the cog skip as well. That's really unfortunate. As something you don't see these guys miss a lot, but it does still happen even to the top runners.
I mean, we have to think about, like we said, it's like almost 3 hours into this, and you have been in some good paces, and when you don't get the good paces, you're getting stuck in that barrier in stage 1. It takes its tolls on you. It's a mental thing, a mental barrier. So hopefully they can snatch out some good more runs.
Very possibly. It looks like Stans is on a pretty good one here. Yeah, a really low 417 leaving 3-1. And he got the frame perfect jump that is almost entirely swag. I think it literally saves 1 frame. But he's actually on a pretty good pace as long as he can get out with these hoppers, which he does.
Full health as well here, Stan. It's not common that you have that after that plays.
No, usually, especially with some of these hopper patterns, it's not uncommon to take, 1 hit here, one hit there. So, but this is where his last run died, so we'll see if that little bit of practice and that little bit of a break paid off. Wasn't great, but at least he didn't get stun locked there.
Got a question here in chat about Andy's time saves. Like, we know that he was 2.3 seconds ahead of his world record pace before Firebug. So with a good Firebug and a good, like with the glitch on Joker, that could be. I think Andy himself said something about improving the world record with almost 4 seconds, right?
Somewhere in there. I think 3 to 4 seconds is realistic at the moment. It'd be incredibly difficult, but I think that's kind of the peak of where we can go. Yeah, and the NES Master just asked who's in the final area, and at the moment, Stans is the furthest along, and he's about to leave Act 3. So still 2 more levels after this guy.
Another one of those quick kills on Act 3's boss.
Yeah, his health isn't in a great position though. He has to be really careful with these hoppers because you need to preserve a lot of your health for the end of 4-2 going into 4-3 in the cubes. So he got a lucky heart drop there, so that was good.
Now, unfortunately, the other heart drop was right behind him, so oh damn, got 2-1 there, so no ammo though. So
40's still okay. He's gonna get a lot of opportunities for ammo drops here. So he's going to take out, I think, probably 2 of these guys, maybe 3. Oh, he took out 3 to try and get the next one, so that was smart. And then he's got a bunch of guys coming up here where he can hopefully get at least 1 or 2 of them to drop ammo, and then he's set.
Stans is on a good pace now, so I shouldn't have said that.
No,
now sorry, Stans.
We've got to be really careful about the commentator's curse. If we just got to say hype and hope that we don't jinx anybody.
It feels like we're being like a little bit guiltier recently, so
If any more runs die, I will entirely blame myself for it. So he entered 4-3 at a 7:08, so that's a really, really strong pace.
oh, that's sweet stage 4 music.
I think stage 4 is honestly my favorite music. I don't know, it has a good ambiance to it. It kind of jacks you up a little bit. It definitely feels a little bit foreboding.
I feel like that this music on stage 4 should have been during decline, because it would pump you up even more.
Oh, absolutely. And Stan's made a rare little mistake there. It's really easy to accidentally do that. And
I've done that 2 times now, so
you know what? I do it all of the time, and it's really unfortunate. Yeah, and he just missed. He missed one Dirk, and that was it. That stair strat where they kill all of those guys on the stairs as fast as possible is one of the most difficult strategies in the game.
yeah, I would never go for it myself, because I do not want to, I don't go for the crazy stuff.
I've been able to do it I think 2 or 3 times, and that's it. It is incredibly hard. It's a lot of very quick, very precise inputs and positioning.
Looks like Andy is out of that jail now. Dexter as well.
Yeah.
Getting more often out from that stage 1.
And sometimes that's all it takes is just get out once or twice, and then you're back into it. You're set. And Beldathas asked a minute ago, how are the runs so far? No world record. No world record so far. Endy has set the best time of the night with a 9:57 glitchless, which would have been world record if he had gotten the Joker glitch at the end of the game. And then the other runners have had 10-minute to 10:02-minute runs, which was incredibly strong.
And to answer another question in chat, this is Batman the video game for the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, this is my favorite NES game. It's so good, it's so much fun. It's difficult but not impossible. The music is outstanding as well. I think easily one of the best soundtracks of the era.
I'm like this game and Castlevania, and got like the those games just got the soundtracks.
Oh, for sure. So Dexter's actually
too as well.
Well, decent pace. 4:19 going into 3:2 is okay. You can definitely be significantly faster there, but 4:19 is still a really good run. So we'll see how the rest of Act 3 here goes, and then determine his pace from there. But everyone's out of Act 1 now, so that's a really good sign. Maybe the jail is over. The doors are open.
Maybe we paid for that DLC. Maybe that was maybe Andy did that earlier when he took that "Be Right Back."
Yeah, he had to go grab his credit card and cough up a couple of bucks. I wouldn't blame him. Okay, let's see where we're at here. So, Dave with a pretty standard beginning to Act 2. Andy is just about to go into the Act 3 boss, which has been going really well for him tonight, other than the one mistake, if I remember right.
Andy is being, I think Andy is the one that's being more consistent from the runners. He's the one that actually gets more like closer to finishing off a run, unfortunately, compared to the others. But I mean, they're still doing their best. I mean, this game is like we've said multiple times. It's one mistake and you're done.
Oh, Andy's actually going for. Oh, he tried a new strategy there that he's only started going for recently, depending on the pattern you get, where he tried to do a pixel perfect and frame perfect attack and jump in order to save having to fall into that pit and jump out of it. It is incredibly difficult. I think he's only ever gotten it maybe twice, 3 times in a run. But I think he was looking at his pace and the pattern and just going, you know what, I'm going to try it.
You know what I want right now? I want like everybody to get like into a Joker fight on PB pace, everybody like at the same time. That would be just so sick right now.
Yeah, and to answer the NES Master there, Andy and Dexter are both Swedish, and then Junkyard Dave is from Canada, and Stans is Russian.
So we got a good mixture between the countries here.
Exactly. No, Endy's actually, this is a decent pace for Endy. I think it was a 7:06 coming into 4:3.
Looks like Dexter is on a pretty decent pace as well.
Yeah, he's not far behind. He'll probably be about a 7:09, 7:10 coming in here. 7:09, yeah.
Hopefully that Diggler, it's not that weird that's coming up here, does not cause him more issues than he already had.
Yeah, that's always the scare, especially when you've failed to Diggler once already, is, yeah, he can get into your head a little bit. So, but Endy's actually, he's got a really good climb here. Oh, that was unfortunate. Oh, that was a really lucky heart drop for him. So he lost a little bit of time, but he's at least still in it.
I mean, we did see him earlier do a one heart cube fight, so we know he can do
That's
it.
very true. And it's, I cannot express how difficult a one heart cube fight is. You have to jump those bullets, you have to, that was insanely fast. That was crazy.
That's... you might need to get some hype up here, Chad.
Yeah, this is a really, really good run. I think that's the fastest cube fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it that fast. Like, that's...
No, it didn't even finish rounding the corner, and then he knew, instead of waiting on the left side of the screen, he knew he had to run to the right, because that's where the cube was going to stop, so...
Apparently, from chat, he is 1.2 seconds ahead of his current world record.
So this very well could be it. Yeah, he's had a good climb so far. This is all just execution. There's no RNG here at all. So, and Endy's done this climb lots before, so it's just shake out the jitters and let's go.
Oh, this is gonna be... We need a good firebug this time.
Yeah, that Firebug was what did him in last time, and then missing the Joker. Oh, that was unfortunate. I've never seen him make that mistake before.
It's going to cost him, but there is still a chance, I guess.
Oh, and Firebug broke out. Yeah.
It's always Firebug.
It is always Firebug.
I mean, if it's not the cubes, it's going to either be the climb or it's a Firebug. It's just the nature of the game. Still a good time.
That's a really good time. A 9:59 glitchless, especially with a bad Firebug and that one mistake at the end of Act 5, which Andy says in chat, never done that before. That very well could have just been a case of the jitters kind of getting at you, and you just one mistimed jump, and that's it. It's over.
So we got two sub-10s, but it's from the same runners, so it's pretty interesting.
So that John DX, that wouldn't have been the record if he got the glitch, but it would have been probably a low 957, I think. Low to mid 957. And yes, MBD, that was a glitchless sub-10. And he had a glitchless 957 earlier, so like Andy is in a league of his own right now.
Another 1-2 runs from Indy, and he's going to be there. It's just the small details now. and the best part is that he knows what he needs to do. He told us in chat now. He knows, like, it's going to happen.
It is, and he's already proven it. He's been on PB paces twice so far today. It's just a matter of being on a PB pace and having the end of the game go the way that he wants it, and he's set. Yeah, Stans, like you said, Stans could also have gotten the world record. He has been on paces to beat it. He just hasn't been able to close it out quite yet. So once he gets the run to the best of his capabilities, he could easily take the record from ND.
Looks like Stans has got pretty good pace right now, and Dave as well. So this could be something.
Very well. At the very least, it's nice to see them out of Acts 1 and 2. So that was a great correction by Dave there. He missed one of the kills, but he just kind of pulled back and he didn't get hit.
We also have Andy out of stage 1 immediately after that one.
And that's all it takes is, you know what, sometimes just finish the game, get out of stage 1, and then you're set.
Unfortunately, the Stans run died here during the cog skips.
Yeah, it looked like he missed grabbing the wall when he went for the jump, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So, but Dave is into Act 3 boss here, so we'll see how this goes for him. Yeah, that was a pretty standard quick kill.
There's definitely a PB pace for Dave.
Oh, for sure. I should pull up and see if he's got his splits open. Although Dave's big time saves are at the end of the game, so he might be behind PB, but still have enough time save to warrant it. Oh, he's right on PB pace right now. He ended Act 3 only 0.7 behind PB. And 0.7 behind PB with 1.5 seconds to save on Firebug for him, so as long as he maintains pace, he may not be within world record, but he should be PB range.
I mean, as long as he PBs, I think he will be happy because he will put down Dexter at one spot again on the leaderboards.
Exactly. If Dave PBs by really anything more than a couple of frames, then he'll take second place back from Dexter.
And Dave has said it himself. He doesn't expect himself to take the world record, but he's just happy to be up there with the guys.
I think if he's going to get the world record, now is his time to do it. Endy and Stans are just that little bit ahead of him for paces, but he has the skills right now to get a 954. But Endy and Stans have the skills to get like a 951. So once it goes down that low, it's a whole different league.
I mean, if Dave takes the world record, he can at least brag it. He was, for a short period of time, he was the world record holder. So
exactly, and Dave just missed the battering on that spike car, and 1 health going through all of that is incredibly difficult, and unfortunately he didn't make it. So we're back to 3 of them are in Act 1, and we'll see if Stans can get out of Act 2 here. Yeah, we'll see. These task jumps that Stans is coming up to are incredibly difficult. It's a 2-frame window jump and multiple inputs that you have to do in rapid succession in order to do those as tight and cleanly as Stans did. So he must have had a slow beginning to the game, because that was a really clean 2-2, but he hit this door at 252. It makes me wonder if he didn't get a really good moth kill and is just playing it out.
I'm probably playing it out now. He knows he has some time save somewhere, so might not be too worried.
Yeah, he just turned left a little bit earlier. That was an unfortunate mistake for him. So I think he's just playing it out, getting a run under him. And as soon as I said that, he reset, so...
When we commentate, we need to stop cursing.
Exactly. Endy's got a good one, though. He entered 2-2, I think at the 2-minute mark is what it looked like, which is an insanely fast pace. So with everyone else kind of stuck back in Act 1 again, we'll see what he can do here. So the unfortunate part with Act 2 is there's only one or two very difficult spots in the entire level, but because the time that it takes to get to the boss determines the pattern you get from the boss, everything up until this point has to be perfect. Otherwise, you can't get the best patterns. He's going to get a 249 door entry going into 2-3, which is crazy fast. And yes, JKL, so Stans is the newest player to this group. I think Dexter's been playing for years and years. Endy, I think, has been playing for 3 or 4 years. Dave's been playing for a couple of years. Stans, if I remember correctly, picked this up about a year ago. Yeah, he has put in a lot of time. Yeah, Dexter's been playing since 2012. There you go. Yeah, so Endy with a 333 door entry into Act 2. So that's perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. Very quickly takes that down. I felt his batarangs were a little slow there, but if he's good with it, then I'm good with it. And so what Endy did there was he knew what pattern the hopper was giving him, so he jumped into the hopper to manipulate what was going on and to get through there without having them chase him down. Yeah, MBD, I've been playing this since about 1991 myself. I owned it as a kid. I think the copy I have is still the one I owned as a kid. So this game is near and dear to my heart.
Pretty fitful that you're doing commentary with like the 4 best runners in the community for this game.
And you know what? For myself as well, Batman was the first game that I ever speed ran. And Dexter's 10:15 world record at the time was the run that got me into speedrunning. So this is a pretty cool thing for me to be doing personally.
Yeah, I understand that. This is the first speedrun game that I actually sat down and grind up myself. I've done some other stuff, but this is the game that really caught my attention.
Yeah, exactly.
And the best part is you had people like Dexter, you had Endy and Rich and Dave Stans and all those. Like the community for this game is just like this big, it's like a big happy family. Everybody wants to help out to improve other runners, so.
Oh, for sure. So JKL just asked us to reveal our PB times. So I have a 10:15. I'm in like a 3-way tie for 8th place, if I remember right.
That is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was a lot of work, and I'm afraid to go back to try and improve it.
I can be. I just recently got an 11:45, so I'm getting there.
Yeah, and all it takes is just that little bit of a grinding, and then you just keep breaking your next barriers. You break the 11-minute barrier, you break the 10:45, and as long as you're having fun and you keep going for it, it's always enjoyable. Endy tried that frame perfect, pixel perfect strat again, and he's missed it twice now. So I wonder if he'll keep going for that, or if he's just because of the pace that he's on, if he feels it needed it.
I think like we have seen from all these runners today, I mean, these runners are on an amazing pace all the time, but I think it shows like Endy is the one that finished more runs, so you can see a little bit more of consistency in how he plays, but it just shows how hard this game is to get that perfect run. So that's why you always reset, so it makes sense.
And especially at the level these guys are playing at, I think Endy's the only one that's finished multiple runs tonight, I think. Like everyone else, they finished their like 1 10-minute-ish run, and then it's just been reset just because of one mistake here, one mistake there. Yeah, Endy is an incredibly consistent runner. It's one of the things that makes him so strong as a competitor. Yeah. He is on a really good pace right now. once he got past Diggler, which he just did, and I held my breath for him to finish that punch before I said anything. So my big barrier to track my time is I watch what time I get into the boss at the end of Act 4, and that kind of sets what kind of a pace you're on, if you aren't sure going into cubes. He kind of screwed up the stairs there, but that was a really, really, really fast stairs.
Yeah.
And he despawned a guy doing that. That's interesting.
I love the way you can despawn enemies in this game. Like, it makes no sense that you can do it, but like, there's so many places in the actual one where you can actually just despawn an enemy.
That was a really tight, really clean cube kill. I thought he was dead there.
We have a run going.
This is definitely a run
going. 0.8 seconds ahead.
0.8 seconds ahead. That's crazy.
And then we have to keep in mind this run haven't been perfect for Andy, but he's still ahead, so it just shows how amazing he is at this game.
Yeah. Considering he was almost 3 seconds ahead earlier, he still has more time that he can save. And it looks like Stans is resetting out of frustration. Yeah, and he has perfect ammo. He has really good health. It's just having Firebug not break out of his stun lock, and it's having a good climb. And I'll hold my breath so I don't jinx him. One more. That was a great climb. 923 going into Firebug. So he's definitely on pace. Oh, that was a different pattern from Firebug than I was used to seeing. Yeah, I had a feeling he didn't quite get that. That was still really good, though.
I'm telling you, it's always that damn Firebug.
Yeah, I think he's out of world record possibility now, but this is still going to be... that might have tied the world record. Maybe beaten it by frames if he had gotten the glitch, which he didn't, so it's a 959 glitchless.
He's getting there. He's definitely... it's better than the other 959s, though.
Oh, for sure.
He's in the zone. He's in the zone. If somebody's going to break this world record tonight, it's Andy.
Yeah. So NES Master just asked, how do you get the glitch? So when Joker calls down his lightning, you have to kill Joker on the exact same frame that the lightning strike hits the ground. And there's, I think, 2 or 3 frames to do it. But they're not next to each other, so it's a very, very particular timing that you have to kill the Joker on. You can kind of set it up, but it is down to, it's a frame-perfect trick at the end of the run. And Andy's right back in for another one, so we'll see if he can finish out one more really, really hot pace run before the end of this.
No, he's going to. I can just feel it right now. I think just that he didn't take a break at all. He was just straight in here. He's going for it now. He can feel it.
I think he's in the zone. He's ready for it. He's had 4 runs that are on world record pace going into the final set to boss.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, we know he's good at the game, but it's just ridiculous.
So we'll see. So we got Dexter's in Act 3. We'll see what Dave does getting out of Act 2 here. Looks like Dexter might just be finishing out a run here, because a 450 door is okay, but it's not great by any means. Yeah, he's, like, I've seen Dexter even today has been 3 seconds ahead of the current pace he's on.
Yeah, I think just like you're saying, Dexter wants to finish a run. He wants to go up to Joker and throw him off the rooftop at this point, but it's, I think it's just like we talked about, that mental barrier. You're starting to, if you can't finish a run, it's starting to affect how you play the game.
Oh, and it'll build the frustration and everything as well, and yeah, sometimes you just need to finish them sometimes, get them out of the way. I'll see if I can pull up what his splits are here. He's not on bad pace, he's only 1.5 behind his peak, so we'll see where Dave is at right now. Dave is pretty much tied for PB at the moment, which is surprising because his Act 2 and his PB was incredibly strong.
A decent kill there from Dexter at least.
You know, and he didn't get chased down by the hoppers, so not only did he he save time by running through that, they didn't cause a bunch of unnecessary lag, and those 2 heart drops are huge.
Especially when that jump just hits you. Like, come on, dude, I just got a heart.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have to keep in mind that Dave can be on PB pace because of that, like the almost 2 seconds of Firebug.
Well, and that's just it. He just has to match PB, be within that almost 2 seconds going into Firebug, and he's set. So his splits might look worse than they are until he actually finishes the run, and all of a sudden he'll save 2 seconds.
It's really interesting to see where his splits is, where after this kill here.
That was a really good kill. So he is 0.1 behind his PB. So he's on a really good pace run.
He can definitely PB here. He just needs to get this run, like reach the end of it.
Oh, and Endy actually just had the fastest Act 2 door entry I've seen tonight. With it just barely rolled into a 333. So he's actually 1.2 seconds ahead of PB right now. Endy going into Act 3.
Yeah, we need to like really say that's at stage 1, like at stage 2. We're going to 3 now, and he's like that much ahead already. And unfortunately, thanks to thanks. We didn't curse in this time. Dexter's run up.
That wasn't our fault, other than calling out his pace. So, and you know what? Sometimes those stairs are so hard. Sometimes you just take a death there.
Yeah, I mean those stairs are like they put everything in those stairs, and it just sucks sometimes.
Yeah, that's hard to say, Walranium. Like, he definitely slowed down a little bit. Getting a 710 door is for sure behind. Ideally, he'd be looking at 707, 708, so I didn't see where he lost the time, though. Yeah, oh, and Stan's either... Oh, that's an interesting recovery. No, Stan's made one mistake, and 4-2 has definitely cost him there. So now it's just Dave and Endy. So we'll see what kind of pace Dave is on here. He's definitely going to be behind PB because of that mistake, but he's got good health and he's got okay ammo. And like we said, with a 1.5 second save in against Firebug, he for sure could he could probably PB depending on what his pace is here. Nope, never mind. He got cubed. We'll see what Endy's pace is. So he lost a little bit of time, but he's still ahead by about half of a second. With time to save everywhere, according to Endy. So this is actually a really, really good pace run for him.
Hey, don't blame us. We're only commentators.
Yeah, we're just reacting to what they're doing. Yeah, and as Walranium said, Endy has about 2 seconds to save on the Act 5 climb. Just because he did make a small mistake there that definitely cost a little bit of time. So he's on really, really good pace. And Endy PB pace, ooh, that was an interesting mistake, but a good recovery. Endy PB pace is world record pace, so we'll see how this goes.
A bit low on ammo. but he's getting that ammo that he kind of needs, so should be okay for now.
Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill a swath of enemies coming up here though, so if he gets lucky, he has enough enemy ammo to get through the stairs. So he just needs to get pickups there. And a 706 door entry going into 4-3. That's insanely fast.
I think actually the biggest time save for Andy is this stage, like from stage the first 4-1 and throughout this one. So there's definitely potential here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and Andy has the world record at a 955.7, so he doesn't even need to save a full second against his PB to break into the 954 barrier. That was an interesting way to take out the tank. I like that. Oh, great, beautiful stairs. Bovine Divine, the item drops are, they're not complete RNG. They cycle off of a, they cycle every 0.3 seconds. So as long as you're on a consistent pace, you'll always get the same drops, but you can't manipulate them other than through timing. Oh, and Andy just missed the good kill there. He was literally one hit away.
Yeah, he lost his. He's not on PB pace right now, but you never know what happens.
Yeah, but if he has almost 2 seconds to save in this stage, he could still pull this back for a poverty PB, a 1 or 2 frame or 0.2 second PB.
I mean, poverty PB is still a new improved world record. So.
Exactly. And maybe because it isn't such a hot-paced run, maybe the nerves won't take as effect like they normally do. Hard to say. Does Andy even get nervous? I don't know. So he's past the last spike car. He's finished the climb. His ammo's... This'll be tight. Yeah, he missed the he missed setting up Pixel. I don't. Yeah, even if he survived, I don't think he had enough ammo to finish that fight.
That Firebug has Andy's number.
Oh, for sure. Firebug has ruined more runs than anything for Andy. Yeah, and he's not a very difficult boss, but he is a difficult boss to do very fast. So, and at the level these guys are going at, that 1 second difference makes a huge difference.
Some focus time here on Dave and Dexter.
Oh, well, Dave is out, but we'll see if Dexter can finish this out. Someone other than Andy needs to finish another run.
Yeah, I feel like it's only Andy right now.
It absolutely is. Everyone's had great paces, but they just haven't been able to pull it all the way to the end of the game, except for Andy.
I feel like for Stans, he's in jail right now on stage 1. He's been in that for a while. He comes to like stage 2, but it's that mental barrier now.
And it is, and it's so hard to break out of that mental barrier, and especially in an event like this where you know people are watching, you know you're trying to perform, you can't just, step back and walk it off for 20 minutes. You kind of have to go. At least that's probably the voice in his head. I wonder if at this point he would have normally switched to a different game to kind of just get something different under his belt.
I would most likely take at least a 10-minute break.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, usually when I'm stuck where he is right now, that's where I get up, I go have a smoke, I go have a grab a bite to eat, just kind of walk around a bit and get away from it, because it is frustrating when you can't get out of level 2, level 1. So Dexter's got a decent run here, though. He's pretty healthy, and he's got, you know, middling ammo. 45 is pretty good ammo.
I think we should. I think we should not say too much right now, because you know, Shad is going to blame us as always.
Even though by the time we say it, he's already past the point, I still feel responsible for when I jinx him.
You're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dexter actually, he very smartly conserved ammo there by punching down that last flamethrower guy. Is you have just enough time to punch him before his flame hits you. Normally you'd take him down with a dirk, but it saves 3 ammo to not have to. And a 706 door going into 4-3. So this is actually ahead of world record pace right now.
Could be. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, so I didn't say anything.
Oh, he's past Diggler. I held my breath until that punch landed.
I'm going to say it like this. I'm not going to say a single word about this run until after the cubes.
I feel cubes and stairs are the make or break in this. Ooh, and I said stairs, but that wasn't the worst way to fail them. He still got up relatively quickly. He just took a bunch of damage. Yeah, and that's where that pause strat really paid off.
Good cube fights.
Yeah, that was good. That pause strat put him on a pattern where he knew how to react to it and take it down quickly. It didn't cost him a lot of time, so I'd be interested to see if someone has it open what his pace is.
So while Dexter is doing the climb here, we got a question in chat from Roach. How easy would you say it's to learn this speedrun?
I would say it's pretty easy. Well, I shouldn't say pretty easy. It depends on the level that you want to get to. If you just want to beat the game without dying in a relatively fast manner, I don't find it that difficult. There's a lot of resources out there on speedrun.com and through YouTube that kind of walk you through the game really quickly. But it is incredibly difficult once you get into the mid to low 10-minute mark.
I'm not saying like just where I am right now, trying to break sub 11. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I think I was stuck at 11:30 for the longest time until I started breaking those bad habits, those safe habits that I had. And some of it's just learning the game. Honestly, you just get better the more that you play it. Oh. Dexter got broken out of Firebug. That wasn't a huge time loss, though. He got broke out really late, so probably not world record pace anymore. Maybe a tiny PB pace. No, he's out of it.
But it's at least good for Dexter. He got to finish a run here. It's been a while for him.
And that was about a 10:04. He reset his splits before actually splitting, but 10:04 is a really solid time. Yeah, and that entire time the other runners were either stuck in Act 1 or Act 2, so... See, Dave's on a okay pace. He's gonna... High 335 going into Act 2 boss isn't great by any means. But I do find that 334, 335 is pretty standard for Dave going into Act 2. So he saves more of his time later into the run, compared to the other guys. So, and this is where we get to see some of Dave's hopper manipulations. So he's going to walk off the ledge here and then hold jump so it buffers a jump, so that this guy always does the exact same thing. And then he knows exactly what's coming up here and how to respond to it. And then the next two hoppers, provided he doesn't make any mistakes going in, they're going to be on the same or one of two patterns, depending on what time he gets down there. And he'll react accordingly, and that's kind of the consistency that Dave likes to take. Ooh, that hit obviously throws him off rhythm. But Dave likes to take the consistent route, even if it's, this waste point 1, this waste point 2, just so that he can finish more runs, which usually bodes well for him, but tonight he's not finishing many.
Yeah, I think Dave has only finished one, and that was like the race one, right?
He finished. I think he had a 10:0. I think he had the 10:02. He finished one other one, if I remember right.
Let's see if Stans can break out from and get a good run here.
Well, I mean, at least he's out of Act 1 at least, which that's always the frustrating one. So, and then he's just got to finish up. Task jumps are really the next difficult part at the end of 2-2. Which actually, Endy's coming up to that right now, so once he leaves 2-2, we'll kind of be able to determine his pace. 249, 250. Oh, that was unfortunate. 249 to 250 is what they're kind of looking for. Yeah, so that's going to be a high 250, almost 251, so not ideal. But again, Endy is so good that, yeah, he can make up the time later. And I think Stans is just gonna finish a run if I were to bet. So,
I feel like that's a smart move to do.
At the moment I said it, he reset button.
Okay, so while we're like here right now, like please do check these runners out. Putting up an amazing show for you guys.
Oh, absolutely! All of these runners are amazing. They're consistently great guys. They're consistently putting up top times in almost every game that they run. So some of them are still actively working on Batman. So if you enjoy watching Batman speedruns, give them all a follow. They're worth it.
Yeah, and if you have any questions at all when it comes to this game, they will show you like if they have a run that's bad and they reset, they will show you. Like they have done that to plenty of people, so definitely check them out.
Actually, Dave's made a few tutorials for this game. The 72 ammo 1-1 tutorial, he made one that kind of explains the Joker glitch and what goes into that, and he is a fountain of knowledge. So that was an unfortunate end to that run for Endy. Sometimes the hoppers just knock you back sometimes. I think we're coming up really close to the end of the event. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 hours long.
I think we said 3 hours, but it depends on when we started out as well. So
exactly. I know we were a little behind starting, so they might have time for a couple more runs, but they're definitely kind of getting into crunch time. Yeah, and as Bad Breaks points out, you can get more ammo than 72. There's different strats that follow the same general principle to time out the ammo drops and ideally get as many ammo drops as you can out of 1-1. Yeah, Stans does a 74 version. Dave had a 84 version at one point, I believe. Or an 82 version, maybe, something like that. So, but it all stems around the same concept. feel like Andy just called Bad Breaks something mean in chat that us English-only speakers don't understand.
He pretty much just said it. Bad breaks, like, you know, trying to be correct all the time.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't
Well, in that case,
bad.
yeah, Bad Breaks. Oh, well, one of my cats is angry.
The cats are probably angry because we haven't seen that world record yet.
You know what? I'm a little bit shocked. Although we have seen 2 almost world records from Andy with it was the 957 glitchless, the 959 glitchless. Like, we've been within striking range. So, which is more than you can ask for.
I mean, just getting close to a world record in a event like this is like, you know, it's you don't think you will see it.
No, especially considering how hard these guys have to grind for, you know, just small improvements on their PBs at this point. It's to take down the world record in an allotted 3-hour time is incredibly difficult to do. Okay, so we've got at most we've got about 27 minutes left, is what I'm hearing. So I think at one point we'll probably just have to tell the runner's last run, and then we just go from there.
I don't know if we're going to bring them in, maybe have a quick word with them if they want to, of course.
Oh, for sure.
Depends
Yeah,
on
we should leave time for that.
Yeah, depends on if they, I mean, of course, if they want to do more runs than talking with us, that's up to them. So.
Like, Andy is so close, it would not shock me if he kept going for a little bit longer, but I know it's late for you guys, so.
I mean, it's basically Saturday. Well, Saturday, but it's in the middle of the night. I mean, if Andy's this close to world record, I think he's going to go for a couple of hours after we're done here.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's 3 p.m. in the afternoon on Friday for me, so I got lots of time after this.
I mean, it's like a little bit over 1 a.m. for Stan since he's from Russia, so I think it's almost 2 a.m. for him. So.
Well, you know, and that's probably one of the things that's contributing to him as well, is like you stay up later, you start to get a little bit more fatigued, and just those little mistakes start to pile on.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing good still, so it's not that. So just like we're saying, it's so hard to get out from this stage 1. Like we've seen from like Dexter, we've seen it for Dave, we've seen it for Andy from time to time as well.
Oh yeah, every single one of these guys. I mean, they've been stuck in Act 1 for, you know, 20, 30 minutes at a time. Yeah, it's not exclusive to one run, unfortunately. It's just how the game treats you. So, Dave's on okay pace, 251 going into 2-3, so... And Dexter... I feel like he had an extra jump on that boss kill, but probably still decent pace for him. I was gonna see if I can pull up his splits really quickly here. And of course I'm getting an ad, so... It'll take a little bit, and then we'll find out. So, we're going for probably another 10-15 minutes at most, if we're being honest. Yeah, we have a hard 6:30 is the absolute latest. 6:30 Eastern time.
Got plenty of time for more resets.
Exactly. We got plenty of time for more level 1. And actually, with Dexter's on a decent pace right now. I didn't see how the beginning of his Act 3 went, but he was only a little bit behind PB coming into Act 3. Yeah, as Bad Breaks has pointed out, 3 runs under 10 minutes from Endy, and I think he's the only one that has finished under 10 minutes so far. Yeah, so Dexter's he's on decent pace. I just checked his splits and he's 1.3 behind PB right now. And then we got Dave is coming up to the end of Act 3, so we'll see how he's doing. We'll check his splits in a second here and see what kind of a pace he's on. I have a hard time telling just from door entries and when bosses leave. I know Endy's really, really good at, oh, I had a 921 door and what that translates to, but...
And also, like, when you hear the runners talk about, oh, I just had that, like, it's so bad, and you're like, you're saying that's bad? I could just, like, dream about it.
Yeah, you're saying that thing that is 10 seconds faster than anything I've ever done is bad? Okay, I understand, thank you.
Please don't rub it in my face, please.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, I'm gonna check on Dave's splits here, see where he's at, but he's coming up to the end of 4-1. I usually like to try and get through here like 627, 630, somewhere in there. He's in at 626, so that's pretty good. Let's see if I can pull up his splits really quickly. So he's only about a second behind PB at the moment, coming into Act 4. And so as long as he can match PB, he's got a chance with a good firebug to improve his personal best. But I think he's out of world record possibility now. And then Dexter will kind of figure it out once he gets into the cubes. God, I hate saying anything on those stairs, but Dexter's stairs are beautiful. That's exactly what you want to see. You get a whole bunch of drops and you get through there really, really fast. He's got 3 hearts, and he's got... I don't know his ammo at the moment. 49 ammo is really good. He's got a good pattern from the cubes. Oh, beautiful cube fight.
He's on pace.
Yeah, he's on a great pace right now.
Half a second ahead now.
Oh, perfect. Half a second ahead of his PB. So he's on 956 pace for sure. Yeah, and I think Dave's going to get about an 810 cube store entry. Yeah, high 809. Oh, I hate saying anything for these climbs. Like, the commentator's curse has been real all night, and I don't want to say it. Oh.
I don't want to say a single thing. Come on.
This is going to be really close.
Come on, Fireboy. He behaved at least. Come on.
Oh, that's the glitch though. Oh, so we finally got a glitched run at 9:58.
There we go. Dexter's in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So he's right back into form already. Okay, so now we've got Dave down at the bottom right. He's coming into Firebugs. We'll see how he does. Yeah, and again, this is such a rhythm that you have to punch at to kill Joker on the very specific frame that you need. And it is so easy to go too fast, too slow. That looked too fast. Yeah. Really, really good time, though. 10:02 glitchless from Dave, so a really, really good time.
That's good for Dave. He's finally getting to finish a run here. Same with Dexter.
Yeah, we'll see if so Stans is the furthest one along now. He's been struggling a little bit tonight. We'll see if he can get out of Act 2.
Either way, I really hope that just stands, even if it's not PvP pace, just or something like that. Just finish a run and just get it out of the system now.
Exactly. Yes, Kamikaze Ninja. The glitch just stops the animation of Joker trying to get up, so it saves about, I think, 3.5 to 4 seconds, somewhere in there.
It saves a bunch of time. That's for sure.
It's significant for the level that these guys are playing the game at. Well, Stans is into Act 3 though, so we'll see if he can get out of this one. He's been struggling a little bit. So they won't play until they get a world record. The world record right now is a 9:55.7 by Endy. I think they're gonna play. We've only got a few minutes left.
Let's see if they want to do at least one more run, or if they want to come in and join us here and talk a little bit about the event. It all depends on if they want to squeeze in one run as well.
I just realized I don't really have a way of contacting all these guys other than this. Okay, unfortunately, yeah, they're all kind of stuck in Act 1 right now, which is how speedrunning this game goes, so Dexter's out. Alright, 3 of them into Act 2, so that's a good start. I always like to time my pace based off of getting through this door and the next door. So the door that Endy's coming up to should be a really, really high, a low 201 to a high 201. Yeah, so right there. So he's good for right now. I wasn't watching Dexter's, unfortunately, but I'm assuming he got the same pace. And then the next one, the door that Dexter and Endy are coming up to, for these guys should be a high 249 to a high 250, somewhere in there. And that shows that they're on the pace that they need for the cycle that they want on the Act 2 boss. So Dexter will hit it first after this this next task jump, which he nails, of course. Yeah, so right as it rolled over into 250, so that's actually a really, really good pace for Dexter.
It's looking good right now. I'm just like worried to curse the runners at this point.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I think Dexter and Endy they're pretty much tied going into 2-3, and actually Stan's was as well. Very, very similar paces. And yes, Walranium, there's a sub-pixel door trick in 2-1, and it's you have to hold jump for a certain amount of frames at the end of one of the platforms, but it's a sub-pixel perfect trick because depending on how you approach the platform, your sub-pixels, the way that the game kind of maths out where Batman actually is, will be ever so slightly different. That was actually a pretty good kill from Stans there. And we'll see what time Dexter enters this next door at. He's probably looking for like a 4:18 or so with this pace.
Stans is 1.4 ahead after that fight.
Oh, fantastic. So this is actually probably Stans' best run of the night.
This could very well be Stan's run if everything goes correctly. We never know. Hard to tell with a game like this.
Well, and that's just it. Like, you can be 1.5, you can be 2 seconds ahead, and one mistake costs you all of the time in the run, so... Yeah, it's not good enough to, like, you can't really build up your time saves at the beginning of the run by any means. You just kind of have to get everything right at the beginning of the game, and then everything right at the end of the game, and hope it's all enough. Yeah, but Stans is doing really well right now. We'll see what Dexter leaves this stage at. I feel like both of them are on really good pace. Dexter was a little slow getting into the screen. He was, I think, 419 or 449. Sorry, door.
It's looking good for Stans right now.
Ooh, 542 going into the boss, and Dexter's he's about 1 second behind PB, so. He can still PB, but probably world record is out. Ooh, that was a really good kill by Stans.
And Stans is still 1 second ahead.
Perfect. Oh, that was a masterfully done hopper pattern, but that cost him a lot of time, especially to have the hopper keep chasing you.
That's unfortunate for Stans because this looked really good. I mean, there's still hope for him, but a lot of that time you just gained, like you had from the beginning, is just gone now.
Yeah, he still left that screen at 6:23, which is like almost 5 seconds faster than some of the other runs we've seen tonight. So I think there's still PB hope for him. It's just rapidly kind of going away here. Yeah, and Dexter's entering 4-3 with only 1 health, which is incredibly scary. Yeah, whereas Stans has 5 health, and is entering at about the same pace, maybe a little bit faster, a 7:07 going into 4-3. So he can do that fall a little bit faster, and he doesn't have to worry as much about drops and stuff coming up. Just has to worry about not making any mistakes.
Hopefully Dexter can finish up this run.
Yeah, that's it. That fireball from that dragon tank there is one of the dangers of doing 4-3 with only 1 health.
I shouldn't have said anything.
No, that was on us. It's always on us.
It's okay, Chad. We will take the blame.
A little bit slow on the stairs for stands, but definitely not that bad. Like, it's only taking the 1 stun lock there. It's an interesting way to deal with that that dropper. Yeah, so stands with the pause strat again to get the cube pattern he wanted. Oh, and he just mistimed the punch. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So we'll see what Dave can do here. Coming out of Act 2. 348. Leaving Act 2 from Fade Out, so not too bad. Probably about a second and a half behind PB if I were to guess. Oh, actually, I just checked, only half a second behind PB, so he's actually on a really good pace right now. And remember with Dave, he's got almost 2 seconds to save in Firebug, so he just kind of needs to maintain a decent pace into Firebug in order to set up a personal best.
Let's go, Dave.
I'm afraid to say anything now. I don't want to jinx like the last run of the night.
Yeah, because this will be the last run for runners, because life sometimes catches up.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
So I think Dave is the one we have to focus on now.
I think, hard to say. Dave and Dexter both kind of have time to finish out the runs that they're on. Oh, sorry, I meant Andy and Dexter as well as Dave.
Let's see here, Dave.
Dave's ammo isn't great, though, even if he gets out of this with a good pace. Well, I mean, 24 is okay. It kind of really all depends on what you get at the end of this stage here. And he's only a second behind PB, so he's still within PB strike here. Yeah, those 2 ammo drops were huge.
It's focus mode right now. I can feel it now.
Yeah, and Dexter just entered the level 2 boss, a high 34 door, so pretty good. Not the best pace he's been on, but really, really good. With a really fast boss kill. Yeah, 4-2, the stage that Dave's on right now is kind of like that calm before the storm, where you just got past all of the Hopper RNG. And then there's not really much going on in this screen. You just kind of have to time your jumps right. And then you're into the gauntlet that is 4-3 of all of the jumps and some of the harder strats and all of those dragon tanks and the stair climbs and all that stuff.
there's Dave's run over. Let's see here how it goes for Dexter and Andy.
Oh, and Andy's is over, and he just put in Discord. He doesn't have time for another run, so we are on to the last little bits here.
Yeah. We don't want to go over time because there's more action coming up here in Speed Gaming.
Yeah, and I think Dave's probably just going to finish out his run here. I haven't seen his pace, unfortunately, but I feel like he just made a few mistakes that I'm just forgetting now.
He took that Diggler fall.
Oh,
earlier,
that's right. I knew I saw someone to get hit by Diggler, so he's just going to finish out the run, and then he'll be done. And then we'll just see how far along Dexter and Stans can get.
Here we go. Dave got his fight here against Firebug.
It's unfortunate he broke out, but... Oh, and he got punched to death, but... Yeah, and Dave's just gonna finish out a run. Oh, and he got sunlocked by Firebug again.
Firebug has been nasty today.
Yeah, Firebug and Moth have just been destroying more runs than anything else.
Unfortunately, Stans will be able to finish his run on his own channel, but we cannot go over time.
Well, and his run just ended anyway, so we've just got Dexter left now.
Yeah.
So
I think we have... Dexter's run is over here, unfortunately, but...
Oh, is it? I'm just that little bit behind.
I mean, he's, like, you know...
Oh, you meant he's too far behind, I see, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, while Dexter's finishing up the run here, we can wrap a little bit things up here so we don't go over time for the next stuff coming up here on Speed Gaming. So, Chase for the record for Batman video game for the NES, and this Wii has the world record still with the 955.7. Is that correct?
Yeah, 955.7.
We had some insane runs here today, and hopefully you guys will get maybe we'll get some new runners at this game by showcasing this wonderful game. So, Sidetrack, do you have anything to say about this event?
No, other than, I mean, GG's to Andy, to Dexter, to Dave, and to Stans. Some awesome runs were on tonight. We had multiple almost world record pace runs that just couldn't quite finish it. So, definitely should go check out all 4 of these runners. They're top tier players and top tier guys. And yeah, like Alex said, hopefully if you enjoyed what you saw, start picking up the game. This is one of my favorite speedruns because there's always little things you can continue to do that to improve your own time, and it's a blast. I love it.
I couldn't say that better myself. This was Nils Alex 92 on commentary together with Sidetracked, our runners Dexter, Andy Swee, Stans, and Junker Dave. And stay tuned because we got a Link to the Past randomizer tournament coming up here now in just a few minutes. So don't miss out on that, and hopefully we'll see each other around in the community somewhere. Take it easy, guys. Good night.
Okay, good night, everyone.